Just started university, and my beautiful tutor turns out to be the mother of my child. This video is purely for entertainment and does not infringe on copyrights or laws. The rights to the novel and image belong to the original author. We do not claim ownership. Don't like waiting and want to listen to this fanfic in full now? Subscribe to our Patreon, where you'll find the best fanfics. Chapter 1076. It turns out that this song was written by my husband. Seeing Zhang Yuxi's look of waiting to see more gossip, Lin Feng shook his head and thought to himself. Girls, are they born gossipy? Even a goddess-level figure like Zhang Yuxi is no exception. Okay, you look so curious. According to Chen Kun, he and classmate Su Anna went to the orphanage together yesterday to visit those homeless children. Then it was too late to get back to school, so they stayed outside for the night. Lin Feng said. Then what? Zhang Yuxi saw Lin Feng stop, so she asked. What? No more. Lin Feng replied. Oh, that's it. No more. Zhang Yuxi stared with a pair of curious eyes and said. Yes, no more. Lin Feng also replied. This, that? Do they have that? Zhang Yuxi said a little embarrassedly. That? Which one? Lin Feng asked, pretending not to know. That's it. Zhang Yuxi's face flushed, and she said shyly. Lin Feng looked at her with a half smile. Zhang Yuxi also found out that Lin Feng was doing it on purpose. You tell me or not, I'll be angry if you don't. Zhang Yuxi's face flushed, and she said angrily. Ha ha ha. My little fool, you are really cute. Lin Feng pinched Zhang Yuxi's delicate little face and said with a smile. Okay, is it okay if I say it? According to Chen Kun, they just stayed outside for one night and did nothing. Lin Feng said slowly. Oh. So that's the case. I thought they did that. Zhang Yuxi nodded and said. You little fool, what are you thinking in your little head? Wife, why are you so dirty? Lin Feng looked at Zhang Yuxi and joked. HMPH. I'll learn to be so filthy from you. Who told you to do those bad things to others all day long? Zhang Yuxi rolled her eyes at Lin Feng and said unhappily. Oh, you blame me for this. Lin Feng said helplessly. HMPH. Blame you. If not you, who should I blame? There are only two of us, I can't be wrong, so the only one who is wrong is you. Zhang Yuxi said unreasonably. Lin Feng. Lin Feng felt so bitter in his heart. He didn't dare to speak. He was afraid that if he continued to speak, he would be beaten. The soft flesh on the waist was really painful when it was pinched. Even Lin Feng, who has a strong physique, couldn't stand it. At this time, the waiter came up with the dishes. Lin Feng quickly changed the subject. Wife, eat quickly, it won't taste good when it gets cold. Lin Feng said as he picked up a piece of meat for Zhang Yuxi. Yeah. Zhang Yuxi is a little foodie. As long as there is something delicious, she will instantly forget what happened just now. She nodded, and then ate the food with a happy look on her face. When they were halfway through the meal, suddenly an extremely beautiful piano piece sounded. Zhang Yuxi felt that the piano piece sounded familiar, and listened carefully with a puzzled look on her face. And Lin Feng had already heard that the piano piece was the Gallon Rain. After Zhang Yuxi listened carefully for a while, she suddenly heard something. Hubby, isn't this the song you wrote for Zhou? What's the name of that song? Zhang Yuxi said with excitement on her face. Yes, that Gallon Rain. Lin Feng nodded and said. Yes, that Gallon Rain. I was wondering why it sounds so familiar. It turns out that it's a song written by my husband. Zhang Yuxi said proudly. Although Lin Feng felt a little embarrassed, because according to the situation in the previous life, this song was originally Zhou's song, but now it has become Lin Feng himself who wrote the lyrics and composed the music. Lin Feng couldn't explain it, so he had to accept it with a thick face. This shameless guy. Wife, you like it, don't you? Lin Feng said softly. This song, when you told that story that day, I fell in love with it, it's so sad. Zhang Yuxi nodded and said. Then let you listen to your husband's version today. Wait a minute. After Lin Feng finished speaking, he stood up and walked towards the piano stand. Zhang Yuxi looked at Lin Feng's back with expectation. Lin Feng walked to the resident singer who was playing the piano at the moment, leaned over, and whispered a few words in his ear. Then the resident singer stood up and gave his seat to Lin Feng. The resident singer picked up the microphone and said, Next, please invite this gentleman to sing a song for us. This gentleman wants to dedicate this song to his fiancée, Ms. Zhang Yuxi. Everyone applaud to encourage. Wow. Pa pa pa. As soon as the resident singer finished speaking, thunderous applause rang out in the restaurant. Everyone's eyes turned to Lin Feng. Lin Feng sat down in front of the piano and slid his fingertips across the piano keys. Do re mi fa sol la si. The piano made a rhythmic and clear sound. Ahem. Next, this song is still Gallon Rain played by the handsome guy just now, but this time I will sing it along with the rhythm. It is for my fiancée Ms. Zhang Yuxi and for everyone. I hope everyone will like it. After testing the sound, Lin Feng coughed twice and spoke slowly. Then everyone fell silent. The sound of the piano also sounded. The sound of the piano was extremely moving. Although the resident singer just played well. But the emotion in the piano sound was only on the surface, unable to penetrate and arouse people's inner emotions. What was different from before was that the piano sound played by Lin Feng at this moment was just more emotional and profound. In an instant, it penetrated the softness deep in people's hearts. It evoked the emotions hidden deep in people's hearts. The sound of prosperity has escaped into the empty door, which has exhausted the world. The dream is cold and the love debts of a lifetime have been turned around. Lin Feng spoke softly with a rhythm of piano music. If you accept the life and death waiting for circle after circle of annual rings. The broken floors of the pagoda have broken someone's soul, and the pain goes straight to the collapsed mountain gate with a broken lamp. Let me wait for history to turn around, wait for the wine to be mellow, and wait for you to play a guzhang song. Lin Feng's voice is low and magnetic, like whispering in everyone's ears. It is like a pair of warm hands gently stroking everyone's cheeks. Everyone is immersed in it and can't extricate themselves. Some women even burst into tears. The sound of the shepherd's flute in the suburbs falls on that wild village, and fate takes root with us. Listening to the sound of rain in the Gallon Temple hopes for eternity. Until the end, Lin Feng sang the last line of the lyrics softly, and the piano music was still playing at the end. Everyone was absent-minded, staring at Lin Feng blankly. No one spoke, and the whole restaurant was extremely quiet. Chapter 1077 Go to Good Place. Huh? Lin Feng took a long breath, letting himself come out of the emotion in the lyrics. He moved the stool and stood up. Thank you. Lin Feng bowed to everyone and said softly. Then he turned and walked towards Zhang Yuxi and returned to his seat. Zhang Yuxi's eyes were already filled with tears. Lin Feng reached out and gently touched Zhang Yuxi's delicate face. Silly wife, be good, don't cry. Lin Feng said gently. Hubby, it's so touching. Every time I hear you sing, I want to cry, woo woo. Zhang Yuxi said with a crying voice. Okay, be good, it's just a song, don't think too much. Lin Feng comforted gently. Yes, but it's really too touching, especially your husband sang so well. Zhang Yuxi nodded and said. Wow. Boom. Pa pa pa. At this time, everyone in the restaurant came back to their senses, and applause surged like a tide. Deafening and resounding throughout the restaurant. Handsome guy, great. I've never heard such a beautiful and moving voice. It's just heavenly music. One more song. Some people even shouted, hoping that Lin Feng could sing another song. But Lin Feng smiled and didn't sing again. After all, he just wanted to sing for Zhang Yuxi this time, not to become famous. If Lin Feng wanted to, he would have been famous a long time ago, why wait until now? Then he and Zhang Yuxi concentrated on enjoying the food. After finishing the meal, Lin Feng held Zhang Yuxi's hand and planned to pay the bill and leave. After all, Lin Feng likes home in more than this place. Hello, pay the bill. Lin Feng stood at the counter and said to the cashier. Hello, sir, our boss said that the bill for your table is free, so you don't have to pay. The cashier said to Lin Feng with a smile on her face. Oh, is there such a good thing? Lin Feng was stunned for a moment and said. Yes, our boss is here today too, and it's great to hear your performance, sir. The cashier said excitedly. Oh, Lin Feng smiled awkwardly but politely. Mr. Lin, can you sign an autograph for me? The cashier asked cautiously. How do you know my last name is Lin? I don't think I've ever said that. Lin Feng asked with a puzzled look. Mr. Lin, I know you. I didn't recognize you for a moment, but now I do. I'm a fan of déjà, and I also went to the new album promotion meeting that day, so I know you. Especially when you were with your wife, I recognized you completely. Can you sign an autograph for me and take a photo with me? The cashier explained. Then she looked at Lin Feng expectantly. Oh. Lin Feng and Zhang Yuxi looked at each other. They didn't expect to meet Jejo's fans here and be recognized. After all, it was a photo with a girl, and he was afraid that Zhang Yuxi would be jealous, so he had to get Zhang Yuxi's consent before Lin Feng dared to agree. So Lin Feng cast an inquiring look at Zhang Yuxi. Seeing Lin Feng's inquiring eyes, Zhang Yuxi smiled and nodded. Well, it's okay. Lin Feng said with Zhang Yuxi's permission. Ah. Really? I'm so happy. The cashier ran out of the counter with an excited look. Then Lin Feng took a few photos with her and left her an autograph. The cashier lady was satisfied and thanked her again. Lin Feng thought about it and thought it would be better to pay the bill. But the cashier lady refused to take the money. There was no way. Lin Feng had to accept the kindness of the owner of the store. A free dinner. Then Lin Feng and Zhang Yuxi walked out of the door of the music restaurant hand in hand and walked towards the parking space. Lin Feng opened the car door and got in with Zhang Yuxi. Wife, it's better to sing less when you go out in the future. I always meet some fans of Jejo and get recognized inadvertently, Lin Feng said helplessly while fastening his seat belt. Yes. Zhang Yuxi nodded in agreement. Because she, like Lin Feng, doesn't like trouble. As the ancients said, when you are well fed and warm, you will think about sex. This is exactly what Lin Feng is like at this moment. Wife, let's go. Hubby will take you to a good place. Hey. Lin Feng said seriously. Oh, is it that home inn? Zhang Yuxi said softly without any doubt. After listening to Lin Feng, the corners of his mouth slightly raised, revealing a smile. Yes. Go to home inn. Boom. Lin Feng stepped on the accelerator, and the engine sound of the Mercedes-Benz G500 rang out, shooting out like a sharp arrow, and soon disappeared in the traffic. Lin Feng was driving all the way, and suddenly he remembered that he didn't bring the raincoat. So when he passed by a convenience store. Wife, wait for me in the car, I'm going to buy a box of chewing gum. Lin Feng suddenly stopped the car and said. After that, he opened the car door and got out. Hey. Chewing gum. Zhang Yuxi looked confused. Why buy chewing gum at this time? But at this time, Lin Feng had already got out of the car and walked towards the convenience store. Zhang Yuxi wanted to ask, but had to give up. About 2 minutes later, Lin Feng came back. Bang! Lin Feng got in the car and closed the door. Zhang Yuxi saw that Lin Feng had nothing in his hands and looked confused. Husband, didn't you say you were going to buy chewing gum? Where's the stuff? Zhang Yuxi asked strangely. Oh, put it in my pocket. Lin Feng was stunned and replied casually. Oh. Zhang Yuxi didn't doubt it, nodded and didn't ask again. Boom. The Mercedes-Benz G500 was started again, and the two drove away again. About 20 minutes later, Lin Feng's black Mercedes-Benz G500 slowly stopped at the door of a 5-star hotel. Huh? Honey, why did you get off? Are you there? Zhang Yuxi asked in confusion. Yes, we are. Lin Feng said with a smile. Zhang Yuxi looked outside and saw a 5-star hotel in a row of shops, and was a little confused. Huh? Husband, where's the Rugia you mentioned? Zhang Yuxi asked. This is Rugia. Lin Feng grinned. Huh? Isn't this obviously a hotel? Zhang Yuxi said. Well, although this is not Rugia, it is the same thing as Rugia. Lin Feng said nonsense seriously. Ah. The Rugia you mentioned is a hotel. Then take me here. Zhang Yuxi suddenly said. Isn't it inconvenient at home? Honey will take you out to spend some time alone. Lin Feng laughed. Zhang Yuxi. This big bad guy. Don't think you don't know what he is thinking. He actually tricked me into coming here. Zhang Yuxi was speechless. There was really nothing she could do with this pervert. If you're listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means they downloaded and uploaded it without effort. We cordially invite you to visit our channel, Mundo Fanfic Novelis. There you'll find the original version of this story and you can explore many other novels of various genres. We're waiting for you to immerse yourself in a world of incredible novels. Chapter 1078 Enjoying the World of Two. My dear wife, let's go. Don't get me wrong, my husband has no other intentions, I just want to enjoy the world of two people with you. Lin Feng said nonsense seriously. Zhang Yuxi was so angry when she saw Lin Feng's serious look. Huh? Enjoy the world of two people, right? Then you are not allowed to do bad things to me later. Zhang Yuxi rolled her eyes at Lin Feng and said unhappily. Lin Feng. Oh my god. I was defeated. Oh, wife, let's talk about it. Some things are natural and beautiful. Sometimes he can't help himself. Lin Feng said with a flattering face. Zhang Yuxi. Huh? I knew it. Big bad guy. It must be bad. Zhang Yuxi glared at Lin Feng and snorted. At this point, does Zhang Yuxi still have any choice? Afterwards, the two parked the car and walked into the hotel lobby hands in hand. After completing the formalities, the two took the room card upstairs. Lin Feng still booked a luxury suite. The same as the ones he stayed in before. Oh, that's bad. Zhang Yuxi suddenly shouted as soon as she entered the door. Huh? What's wrong, my dear wife? Lin Feng said. Well, we didn't bring any clothes to change into. Zhang Yuxi said. Oh, that's easy. We'll go to the mall and buy a few sets later. Lin Feng said. Oh, Lin Feng thought something had happened and scared him. Okay then. Zhang Yuxi nodded when she heard Lin Feng say that. Then the two of them went to take a shower. Lin Feng turned on the TV in the room, and a war drama was playing on TV. It happened to be before the war started, and the atmosphere was extremely solemn. A stormy war is about to come. After hundreds of rounds of war, the entire battlefield was in a mess, and there were traces of the war everywhere. Zhang Yuxi leaned on Lin Feng, and the two watched the scene after the war on TV. Zhang Yuxi's face flushed, as if she was infected by the atmosphere of the battlefield and was extremely excited. Lin Feng was the same. The war drama played in the TV series made him excited. It was as if he had personally arrived at the battlefield and charged. It was so exciting. At this time, Zhang Yuxi seemed to suddenly remember something, and she looked up and stared at Lin Feng's face. Huh? Wife, what's wrong? Lin Feng was a little confused, but asked in an extremely gentle voice. Hubby, so, this is the chewing gum you just said you were going to buy. Zhang Yuxi picked up a square packaging bag beside the bed with 2 fingers, looked at Lin Feng and said. Oh, that's right, it's strawberry flavored. Lin Feng smiled awkwardly, flattering and talking nonsense. Huh? Zhang Yuxi rolled her eyes at him and snorted. That, wife, watch TV, watch TV. Lin Feng quickly changed the subject. Zhang Yuxi took advantage of Lin Feng's inattention and stretched out her hand to pinch the soft flesh on Lin Feng's waist. Then she turned her head to watch TV and ignored him. Hiss. Lin Feng took a breath of cold air. Who invented this trick? Exclamation mark. This is really too painful. At this time, the two teams on TV met again, and the war started again. Boom. The rumbling sound of artillery fire and charge continued to echo throughout the room. After the enemy and our artillery shells and bullets were all fired, close combat began. I saw a soldier holding a red-headed tasseled gun and shouting at the enemy on the opposite side. Puff, puff, puff. Every shot hit the flesh. I saw blood splashing like water. There was a puff-puff sound. This made Lin Feng and Zhang Yuxi very excited. About an hour later, the movie ended. It turned out that this was not a TV series, but a movie. At this time, the ending song of the movie was playing on TV. Lin Feng and Zhang Yuxi looked at each other, and their excitement slowly calmed down. It's awesome. It's great. This movie. If possible, Lin Feng wants to watch it with Zhang Yuxi every day. The shooting technique of this movie is so exciting that you can never get tired of watching it. After watching the movie, the two of them were affectionate for a while. Hubby, I'm hungry. Zhang Yuxi suddenly said embarrassedly. Are you tired? My little fool. It's still early, let's go out for something to eat and buy some clothes to change. Lin Feng pinched Zhang Yuxi's delicate face and said with a doting look. Yes, hubby, you are so nice. Zhang Yuxi smiled sweetly. Silly wife, if I don't treat you well, who can I treat well? Lin Feng said softly. Yes, hubby, hug. Zhang Yuxi said coquettishly with a happy face. Okay, okay, okay. Hug. Lin Feng said gently. Then the two of them played and joked for a while. They got up, changed their clothes and prepared to go out. After taking the elevator downstairs, the two drove to the shopping mall in the city center. Lin Feng and Zhang Yuxi were not familiar with each other in Beijing, so they followed the map navigation and found the nearest shopping mall near their home and went in. There were a lot of people shopping at night. Lin Feng and Zhang Yuxi held hands and strolled around the mall casually. Handsome men and beautiful women, They soon attracted the attention of the road. Wow, this couple is so good looking. They are even more handsome and beautiful than celebrities. Passers-by pointed and talked about Lin Feng and Zhang Yuxi. Lin Feng and Zhang Yuxi have long been accustomed to this scene. There is no way to blame, you can only blame the parents for making them look too good. That's right. Lin Feng has always thought so in his heart. This shameless guy. Then the two walked into a luxury clothing store and strolled around casually. Wife, look, this one is pretty, I think it suits you. Lin Feng carefully helped Zhang Yuxi choose clothes, and he was a qualified husband at first glance. Yes, it's pretty good. Zhang Yuxi nodded. After choosing a few more pieces, Lin Feng asked Zhang Yuxi to go to the fitting room to try on clothes. He was waiting for Zhang Yuxi outside the fitting room. Just when Lin Feng was playing with his phone out of boredom, suddenly a woman who looked to be in her 30s and dressed like a successful person walked up to Lin Feng. Sorry to bother you. Can I chat with you for a few words? The woman said. Are you talking to me? Lin Feng was stunned for a moment, and after taking a closer look at the woman in front of him, he spoke with some doubt. Chapter 1079 Encountering a Scout. Yes, sir, can I bother you for a few minutes? The woman smiled again and said. Well, what's the matter? Lin Feng looked at the woman and said. Well, it's like this, sir. Hello, I'm Song Wanru, the chief star promoter of Jingchangxing an entertainment company. I've been following you for a long time. Your appearance is very good. I want to ask if you have any idea of becoming a star. Song Wanru explained to Lin Feng. Lin Feng. Sorry, Ms. Song, I'm not interested in the entertainment industry. Thank you for your kindness. Lin Feng refused directly. No, sir, with your appearance, as long as you package it a little, you will definitely be a big hit once you debut. Please think about it. Song Wanru continued to persuade. Sorry, I'm really not interested. Lin Feng said again. Oh, sir, do you suspect that I'm a liar? I'm really not a liar. This is my business card. Believe me, as long as you package it a little, you will be very popular. Song Wanru said hurriedly. At this time, Zhang Yuxi changed her clothes and walked out while tidying up her clothes. Husband, help me tie this belt. Zhang Yuxi didn't look at this side and said casually. Well, wife, I'll help you. After that, Lin Feng smiled apologetically at Song Wanru, indicating that he had something to do, and hurriedly left Song Wanru and walked towards Zhang Yuxi. Seeing that Lin Feng had left her, Song Wanru looked in the direction of Lin Feng. This sight made her stunned. Wow. So beautiful. This figure and this face are so great. It's like a fairy descending to the earth. There are such beautiful women in this world. Song Wanru murmured to herself. Then she immediately came back to her senses. By the way, they just called each other husband and wife. So young? Exclamation mark. This young couple is simply natural star material. This will definitely be a big hit with a little packaging. Such a good seedling must not be missed. At this time, Lin Feng was helping Zhang Yuxi tie the belt. Zhang Yuxi stood in front of the mirror and turned around. Husband, what do you think? Zhang Yuxi asked Lin Feng. Yes, beautiful. Although the clothes are nice, it's mainly because my wife is beautiful. She looks good in anything. Lin Feng nodded and said with a smile. PFFT, you are the only one who knows how to talk. You know how to make people happy all day long. Zhang Yuxi also said with a smile. No way. Your husband is telling the truth. My wife is really beautiful. Lin Feng said with a smile. Yes, I agree with this gentleman. Madam, you are really beautiful. At this moment, a sudden voice sounded in their ears. Oh. Lin Feng and Zhang Yuxi looked at the place where the voice came from with puzzled faces. They saw Song Wanru walking towards them in high heels. It's you, why are you still here? Lin Feng said helplessly. Zhang Yuxi looked at the woman in front of her with a puzzled look. Hello, Mom. Let me introduce myself. I'm the chief star promoter of Jingchangxing an entertainment company. My name is Song Wanru. I just talked to your husband. Song Wanru stretched out her right hand and introduced herself to Zhang Yuxi. Oh, hello. Zhang Yuxi reacted, stretched out her right hand and shook hands with Song Wanru and said. Hello, Mom, it's like this. I see that you and your husband both have excellent appearance conditions. I wonder if you are interested in becoming a star. Oh, I just talked to your husband about this matter. Song Wanru said. Oh, this. Zhang Yuxi was stunned for a moment and didn't know what to say. Sorry, Ms. Song, my husband and I are not interested in becoming a star. Thank you for your kindness. You can ask someone else. Lin Feng was already a little uncomfortable in his heart, and he spoke directly. How could this person be so ignorant? He had rejected her several times, but she still didn't give up and came here to disturb them. Sir, but you and your wife are really well off. You will definitely become famous. The advertising fee alone will be enough to pay for an ordinary person's lifetime salary. Song Wonru said without giving up. Sorry, I'll say it again. We are not interested in being stars. As for the money you said you can make. Do you think I'm short of money? Lin Feng said coldly with a calm face. Do you think I'm short of money? Lin Feng said coldly. As soon as he said this, Song Wonru knew that Lin Feng was already a little unhappy. Song Wonru was stunned for a moment. She thought about it and realized that people who could buy clothes in luxury stores did not seem to be short of money. It was indeed her own rashness. She was a little embarrassed and at a loss. Okay, Ms. Song, we are really not interested in being stars. Thank you for your kindness. Sorry. We have something else to do, so we won't talk to you for now. Zhang Yuxi saw that Lin Feng was a little angry and the atmosphere was a little awkward, so she spoke. Okay, sorry to bother you. Song Wonru said softly. Although she was unwilling, she had no choice. Okay, husband. Here are a few more pieces. I'll try them all out for you to see. Zhang Yuxi held Lin Feng's hand and said sweetly. Yes. Lin Feng's face returned to normal, and he smiled dotingly. Song Wonru, who had already walked away, looked back at this scene, and her heart was full of pity. But she also envied Zhang Yuxi and Lin Feng. Such love was really desirable. Then she shook her head and turned away. Afterwards, Zhang Yuxi tried on several sets of clothes. Zhang Yuxi looked like a fairy in every set of clothes, so beautiful. So Lin Feng waved his hand and bought them all. Anyway, he was not short of money, and dressing Zhang Yuxi beautifully was pleasing to the eye. Isn't there an old saying? Whether a man is capable or not can be seen by looking at his wife. The more beautiful a man's wife is, the more capable the man is. After all, the less capable a man is, the less likely he is to marry a beautiful wife. Girls are not stupid. Why would they be with you if you are incapable and ugly? But it is not ruled out that there are such people. But for such people, Raymond Lam can only say that they are true love. Afterwards, Zhang Yuxi took Raymond Lam to the men's clothing area and helped Raymond Lam pick out several sets of daily casual clothes. Raymond Lam looked great in them. After all, their height and appearance are there. Both of them are natural clothes hangers. Then the two went to the counter to pay. The consumption this time was more than 358,000 yuan. Sure enough, if you want to live a refined and beautiful life, you must have a certain financial strength. Chapter 1080 Doing Morning Exercises. After shopping, the two of them found a random restaurant in the mall and ate something. After all, they had just consumed a lot of energy, so they had to replenish their energy. Who knows if there will be another big fight when they go back later. After eating, the two of them strolled around the mall for a while. At around 10 o'clock, Zhang Yuxi felt a little tired, so they went down to the parking lot, got the car, and went back to the hotel. After returning to the hotel, Zhang Yuxi felt tired and just wanted to lie on the bed and rest. So after the two of them washed up, they went to bed to watch TV. After watching TV for a while, Zhang Yuxi felt sleepy. Honey, I'm sleepy. Zhang Yuxi yawned and said. Are you sleepy? Sleepy, then let's go to bed. Lin Feng said gently. Yes. Zhang Yuxi closed her eyes and nodded. So the two of them planned to turn off the lights and go to bed. Pa. The lights went out. The two of them fell asleep in each other's arms. There was no more fierce battle. The two of them soon fell into deep sleep. After all, they were really tired. Nothing happened at night. The next day, Lin Feng was woken up by the alarm clock early in the morning. After all, today is Monday, and both of them have classes in the morning. So they can't sleep in. Lin Feng rubbed his eyes and looked out the window. The sky outside has begun to brighten. Then Lin Feng took the phone on the bedside table and took a look. It was almost 6 o'clock, and it was almost time to get up. Lin Feng turned sideways and glanced at Zhang Yuxi, who was still sleeping. That delicate little face was so smooth that there was no trace of pores. The slightly messy hair because of sleeping added a lazy beauty. His wife is so beautiful. With such a wife, what else can a husband ask for? Lin Feng looked at Zhang Yuxi with a happy face. Zhang Yuxi also hummed, shook her eyelashes, and slowly opened her eyes. As soon as she opened her eyes, what caught her eye was Lin Feng's gentle and handsome face. Zhang Yuxi smiled sweetly at Lin Feng. Hubby, good morning, Zhang Yuxi said softly. Wife, you're awake. Good morning, my dear wife. Lin Feng also said gently. Hubby, I want a hug. Zhang Yuxi said coquettishly. Yes, hug. Lin Feng gently embraced Zhang Yuxi in his arms. Huh? Hubby, what is this? Hey, husband, why do you always forget to take out the car keys and put them away? Zhang Yuxi rolled her eyes at Lin Feng and said unhappily. This big fool is here. I can't remember how many times he forgot to put the car keys away and went to bed. Hey. This. I forgot. I was in a hurry to go to bed, so I forgot when I was sleepy. Lin Feng smiled awkwardly. By the way, husband, I heard that boys do that in the morning. Is it like this for every boy when he wakes up in the morning? Zhang Yuxi asked curiously. Oh, yes, it's normal. Lin Feng explained. Oh. So it's true. Zhang Yuxi looked surprised that she had learned more. Wife, do you know why all primary and secondary school students in the country have to do morning exercises in the morning? Lin Feng suddenly said. Huh? Why? Isn't it because exercising in the morning is good for your health? Zhang Yuxi replied. Yes, that's right. Scientific research shows that exercising in the morning is better for your health. So, let's do some morning exercises too. Lin Feng said seriously. Now, how do we do morning exercises here? How about we get up early tomorrow and go to the school playground to run tomorrow morning? Zhang Yuxi said. Wife, it doesn't have to be so troublesome. Your husband knows a way that most people don't know about, which is more beneficial to physical and mental health than running and the like. Lin Feng said seriously. Really? What way? Zhang Yuxi asked curiously. Wife, do you really want to know? Do you want to try it too? Lin Feng looked at Zhang Yuxi seriously and asked. Yes, I think so. Zhang Yuxi said without hesitation. Okay, since you want to know so much, then my husband will tell you this unknown secret. Let's get started. This is a better way to do exercise in the morning than morning exercises. Lin Feng said with a smile. Zhang Yuxi exclaimed. The two of them followed a fitness video in the room and started doing aerobics. After morning exercises, Lin Feng and Zhang Yuxi went to wash up. After washing up, it was already 7:30. The two hurriedly packed up their things, checked out of the room, and drove to Tsinghua University and Peking University. At the gate of Tsinghua University, Lin Feng stopped the car and bought 2 steamed buns and soy milk for breakfast, and then the two drove into the school. Lin Feng looked at the time in the car and found that it was only 8 o'clock in the morning. There was still time before the first class at 8:45 in the morning, so he stopped the car. After the two finished breakfast in the car, they took Zhang Yuxi to the teaching building of their School of Finance. After sending Zhang Yuxi off, Lin Feng drove back to the teaching building area of the School of Computer Science. After parking the car, it was already 8:30. After getting off the car, Lin Feng walked leisurely towards the classroom, feeling so happy. It's true that getting up early this morning to do some morning exercises can really make people feel refreshed. Lin Feng smiled, then strode towards the classroom. After entering the classroom, Lin Feng looked around and didn't see Chen Donggyun and the others, so he found a seat and sat down. At about 8:30, Chen Donggyun and the others walked into the classroom reluctantly. After Chen Donggyun and the others looked around and found Lin Feng, they walked over quickly. Boss, good morning. Chen Donggyun and the others looked at Lin Feng with a wretched look on their faces and smiled. You are smiling so wretchedly, did you pick up money? Lin Feng glanced at the others and said lightly. Oh, boss, can you please stop talking about this? Last time, the professor said that, and the news spread to the next class. I was so embarrassed. Chen Donggyun said helplessly. No, Lao Si, you are famous now. Why don't you take this opportunity to debut in the School of Computer Science of Tsinghua University and Peking University? Suhi said nonsense seriously. Ha ha ha. Several people were amused by Suhi's words. Soon the bell rang, and the teacher walked into the classroom with the textbooks. Lin Feng and Chen Donggyun and others listened to the class in a low voice and talked nonsense. Time passed quickly, and it was time for the get out of class turn at noon. Lin Feng and his roommate Chen Donggyun drove straight to the school cafeteria. The one driving Lin Feng's car was Chen Donggyun. This guy insisted on driving it, saying that he had never driven a Mercedes-Benz G and wanted to experience the driving experience. Lin Feng had no choice but to give him the car keys. After getting out of the car, several people walked into the cafeteria. Chapter 1081, Like to eat chicken neck? Since they drove here, they were one step faster than others. So there were not many people in the cafeteria at this time. After Chen Donggyun quickly ordered a few stir-fries, several people sat aside and waited. The cafeteria of Peking University and Tsinghua University is still a little humane. There are 3 school cafeterias in the School of Computer Science, located in several different areas. And the one that Lin Feng and his friends came to, they can order their own dishes and make them on the spot, just like the stir-fries on the street. The price is a little expensive, but at least the taste is barely edible. There is no way. Several people are picky. If it is the kind of big pot dish that has been prepared, Chen Donggyun and his friends really can't swallow it. Especially after eating the food made by Lin Feng, it is even more difficult to swallow. So, this is why several people drove here in a hurry. Soon the stir-fry was ready, and the cafeteria ant shouted to Lin Feng and his friends, and Chen Donggyun and his friends ran over to bring the dishes over. Several people began to feast on it. Although the taste is average, they can't resist being hungry. Hey, guys, I have always had a doubt. Chen Donggyun swallowed a mouthful of food and spoke to Lin Feng and the others. What doubts? Tell me. Chen Kun ate his meal in big mouthfuls while speaking vaguely. Oh, that's why you say that as soon as the class starts, even if you don't do anything, your stomach will always feel very hungry. Brothers, do you have this feeling? Chen Donggyun looked at the others and said. Oh, it seems to be true. I didn't see you so hungry when I stayed in the dormitory on weekends. It's okay not to eat, but I'm so hungry when I don't eat during the class. Chen Kun thought about it and nodded. It was indeed like this. Lin Feng thought about it and it was indeed like this. Whether it's school or work, as long as it's a weekday, no matter if you do anything that day, you will be extremely hungry at mealtime anyway. What's the reason? Lin Feng has always been very confused. Just when Lin Feng was thinking about this, he suddenly heard Chen Kun's roar. Shut up. Third brother, don't eat my chicken neck. Chen Kun yelled. Lin Feng. This. Damn. Chicken neck. Why does it feel so wrong at first? Is it because I am too dirty? Question mark? Lin Feng thought speechlessly. Well, second brother, why are you so excited? Isn't it just eating your chicken neck? It's not that serious, right? Suhi also said speechlessly. Lin Feng. Why does it feel more and more wrong the more he listens? You still have the nerve to eat my chicken neck last night. Now you actually want to eat it again. Tell you, it's impossible. Chen Kun said with an unhappy face. Lin Feng. Last night, secretly eating chicken neck. This combination, no matter how you put it together, it sounds wrong. Stingy. At most, I will let you eat my chicken neck when I go back later. Suhi said. Well, stop arguing. Is this chicken neck you're talking about serious? Why do I feel something is wrong? You too. Lin Feng couldn't listen anymore. If these two continued talking, who knows what would happen? You can't blame me for thinking too much. If you want to blame someone, blame these two for having problems with their words. Lin Feng thought shamelessly. Chen Kun, Suhi, Chen Donggyun was at a loss. After a few seconds, Chen Donggyun reacted. Chen Donggyun shouted, fuck, you two, second brother, third brother, I didn't expect you to be this kind of people. Then he looked at Chen Kun and Suhi with horror. Chen Kun, Suhi, what the hell, eldest brother, fourth brother, can you two stop being so dirty? I'm talking about a chicken neck in his bowl. What are you thinking? Chen Kun rolled his eyes at Lin Feng and Chen Donggyun, and said unhappily. Oh, it's not my fault. Your conversation is really something that makes people think about it. Lin Feng spread his hands and said innocently. Oh, the third brother and I both like to eat chicken, neck. It's the chicken's neck. It's not what you think, okay? I'm a serious person. If Anna hears you saying this, what will she think of me? I really lost to you. Chen Kun said helplessly. At this time, Suhi was also speechless, looking at Lin Feng and Chen Donggyun. These two guys. It's really too dirty. If this really gets out, the reputation of him and Chen Kun in this life will be ruined. Although he and Chen Kun don't have much reputation. But, you can't be called a gay. Hey. Misunderstanding, misunderstanding. Just fucking, it scared my asshole. Almost peed. Chen Dongyun laughed. Then Chen Kun and Sui hurriedly changed the subject. If they continued talking, something would happen sooner or later. Well, from what you said, Lauer, you and Suana have confirmed your relationship. Suhi said. Yeah, just yesterday, we confirmed our relationship. Now I have a girlfriend. You and Lao Si are the only two single guys left in our dormitory. Chen Kun said with a smug look on his face. The smile on Chen Dongyun's face suddenly stopped. Damn, single guys have no human rights. Then the few people continued to eat, talking nonsense casually. As for the topic about chicken necks just now, no one dared to mention it again. Damn, it's so dangerous and scary. After finishing the meal, Lin Feng and the others went back to the dormitory. They had to take a lunch break quickly. After all, they had classes in the afternoon. If they didn't take a break, they would probably have to go fishing in class in the afternoon. Just when Lin Feng stepped into the dormitory door, his cell phone rang. Holding the blue and white token quietly and keeping the promise, parting is always spent in frustration. Lin Feng took out his mobile phone and saw that it was an unfamiliar number. He pressed the answer button with some confusion. Lin Feng said, "Hello, hello, hello, Lin Feng, this is my third uncle." Zhou Xianhua's voice came from the other end of the phone. Third uncle, what's wrong? Why did you call me suddenly? What happened? Lin Feng asked in confusion. You kid, isn't it that the medical production qualification you asked me to help apply for has been approved? You forgot about it so quickly. Zhou Xianhua said unhappily. Oh. I forgot about it because I was busy with classes these 2 days. It's done so quickly. Lin Feng said a little embarrassed. That's right, you don't even look at who came out. This little thing is easy to catch. Zhou Xianhua said with a proud face. It's still the third uncle who is awesome. Lin Feng said with a flattering face. Okay, kid, you are the only one with a sweet talk. How about it, are you free tonight? Third uncle will come to find you, give you the information, and take you to see the big scene by the way. Zhou Xianhua said with a smile. Chapter 1082, The Real Laughter. Oh, tonight. Okay, after school this afternoon, I'll come to see you. Lin Feng thought for a moment and said. No, after class, change into something more flirty. Third uncle is passing by Tsinghua and Peking University, so I'll pick you up. Zhou Xianhua said generously. Well, okay, I'll wait for you in the dormitory this afternoon. When you come, third uncle, just let me know in advance, and I'll wait for you at the school gate. Lin Feng thought for a moment and said. Okay, that's settled. Take a leave from your young fiancé Yuxi tonight, and third uncle will take you to see the celebrities in Beijing. Zhou Xianhua said. Lin Feng said, okay, that's it for now, see you in the afternoon. Yeah, see you in the afternoon. Zhou Xianhua responded. Then the two hung up the phone. Lin Feng smiled while holding the phone. This third uncle, who was so impetuous, didn't seem very reliable. Then Lin Feng thought about it. He couldn't accompany Zhang Yuxi when he went out with Zhou Xianhua in the evening. He had to tell her. So Lin Feng called Zhang Yuxi. Beep beep. The phone was connected after a few rings. Hello, husband, what's wrong? Zhang Yuxi's sweet voice came from the other end of the phone. Lin Feng smiled and said gently, wife, I have something to tell you. What's wrong? What's the matter? Zhang Yuxi asked with some confusion. It's nothing big, just now my third uncle called and asked me to go to a cocktail party with him in the evening, introduce some people to me, and give me the pharmaceutical qualification he helped me to handle these days. So I'm telling you that we won't go home tonight, you stay in the dormitory for one night. Lin Feng explained. Oh, is that so? It's okay, you go. But you have to promise me to drink less. Don't drink too much? Zhang Yuxi warned. Yeah, wife, I know, I won't drink too much, don't worry. Lin Feng patted his chest and promised. Yeah. Oh, by the way, don't smoke too much? Zhang Yuxi thought for a moment and spoke again. Oh, okay, I promise you, I'll smoke less. Lin Feng promised. Yeah. Don't lie to me, or I'll be angry and ignore you. HMPH. Zhang Yuxi reminded again. Yeah. I promise, don't worry, little fool. Lin Feng promised again. Okay, take a lunch break. I'm so tired from class this morning, My back and waist are sore. It's all your fault, you big bad guy. Zhang Yuxi complained. Oh, hey. Then I guess the way you do exercise in the morning is not correct. Next time, your husband will teach you the right way. Lin Feng said nonsense seriously. Zhang Yuxi. Scare. Big bad guy. I won't be fooled by you again. Who does exercise like that early in the morning? Zhang Yuxi said with a blushing face on the other end of the phone. Ha ha ha. Okay, my little fool, take a break quickly, you still have classes in the afternoon. Lin Feng said with a smile. Well, husband, you should take a break too. Bye, husband. Zhang Yuxi said sweetly. Well, bye, wife. Lin Feng responded. After that, the two hung up the phone and prepared for lunch break. Lin Feng walked into the dormitory from the balcony with a smile on his face. Boss, why are you laughing so loudly after making a phone call? Chen Kun was playing on the computer. When he saw Lin Feng coming in after the call, he smiled and said, Lin Feng, get out. You are the one who laughs loudly. Lin Feng glared at him and said unhappily. He. Chen Kun smiled. Then Lin Feng thought for a while and said, well, guys, I have to go out to do something tonight, so I won't be staying in the dormitory tonight. Call me if you have anything. Ah. Boss, you don't live in the school again. I was thinking that the guys would go out with you tonight to improve the food. Chen Dongyun said. He. In a few days, come to my place, and choose what you want to eat. Lin Feng said with a smile. I'll go. Really? Boss, we have been waiting for you to say this for a long time. Tisk tisk tisk, I miss the taste of the braised pork ribs. Chen Dongyun almost drooled just thinking about that taste. Yet, look at what you guys have achieved. Lin Feng said unhappily. Hey. Chen Dongyun and the others laughed with a flattering look on their faces. Okay, take a nap. Don't oversleep in the afternoon, it will be terrible if you are recorded as absent. Lin Feng said. Then they all went back to their beds for a nap. Time passed quickly, and in a flash, it was time to finish school in the afternoon. When the get out of class was about to end, Lin Feng received a message from Zhou Zhenhua, saying that he had come to the school. Ding ling ling, ding ling ling. The get out of class was over. As soon as the professor on the podium said that the get out of class was over, everyone rushed out. Hey, Lao Si, drive me to the school gate later. I won't drive today. Lin Feng said to Chen Dongyun. Okay, no problem. Chen Dongyun made an okay gesture and said. Then, after packing up the textbooks, several people walked out of the classroom. Chen Dongyun drove and took Lin Feng to the gate of Tsinghua University and Peking University. As soon as Lin Feng got out of the car, he saw Zhou Zhenhua leaning on an extended version of Lincoln smoking. He was wearing a neat suit and his big back hair was combed to shine, full of coquettishness. At this time, Zhou Zhenhua spit out a puff of smoke and saw Lin Feng. He waved to Lin Feng. Lin Feng smiled and walked towards Zhou Zhenhua. When Lin Feng approached, Zhou Zhenhua put out his cigarette butt and patted Lin Feng on the shoulder. Here you are. You look even more handsome in this outfit. Not bad, not bad, you look like your uncle when he was young. Zhou Zhenhua praised Lin Feng and praised himself at the same time. Lin Feng had to smile awkwardly but politely. Okay, get in the car. Let's go. Zhou Zhenhua said. Then the two of them got on the extended version of Lincoln. Xiao Wang, let's go. Zhou Zhenhua said to his driver. Then the extended version of Lincoln started and drove away. 20 minutes later, the extended version of Lincoln slowly stopped at the door of a club. Boss, we're here. The driver Xiao Wang said. Lin Feng, we're here. Let's get off. Zhou Zhenhua said. Then the two of them got off the car and walked towards the door of the club. Lin Feng casually looked at the club. The decoration outside was ordinary, no different from an ordinary club. Chapter 1083. Have you ever seen such a handsome waiter? Mr. J, you're here. As soon as Lin Feng and Zhou Zhenhua walked to the door, they saw a mature young woman in her 30s coming over and said with a smile. He. Wanking, long time no see, you're still so beautiful. Zhou Zhenhua said with a smile. Look at what you said, Mr. J knows how to talk. You're praising me so much that I'm almost blushing. How can I be praised like that by Mr. J? I'm already old and ugly. The woman named Wanking said delicately. Ha ha ha. Zhou Zhenhua laughed. After a few more words, Zhou Zhenhua led Lin Feng in. Lin Feng, that woman just now was incredible. Don't be fooled by her slutty appearance, She's actually very tough. She's a well-known strong woman in the capital. As for why she was welcoming guests at the door, it's because she and a few others jointly organized this dinner tonight. In short, this woman is not easy to mess with. If you deal with her in the future, be careful, or you'll get into trouble. Zhou Xianhui explained for Lin Feng. Yes. Lin Feng nodded. Then the two continued walking. After turning around, they came to a big door. There were several big men in black standing at the door. They looked like the kind of martial artists who were not easy to mess with. When they saw Zhou Xianhui and Lin Feng, they spoke respectfully. Please come in, gentlemen. Then the door was opened. Zhou Xianhui nodded and tidied his clothes, then he and Lin Feng strode in. As soon as he entered the door, Lin Feng was surprised. The banquet hall inside was very large, almost occupying an entire floor. All kinds of rockery and flowing water, it seems like another world. And the decoration is magnificent and extremely luxurious. Compared with the ordinary outside, it is simply a world of heaven and earth. A door separates them, as if they are two worlds. At this time, there are already some people in the banquet hall. Seeing the door open, they all looked over to Lin Feng curiously. Lin Feng, are you surprised? Zhou Xianhui said with a smile on his face, looking at Lin Feng. Well, I am really surprised. I didn't expect that this club looks ordinary from the outside, but it is a different world inside. And it is not easy to build such a place in the downtown area. Lin Feng said slowly. Not bad. This is jointly built by several major families in Beijing. Several major families have jointly hired special people to manage and operate it. Under normal business conditions, this place is not open to the public. It is specially built for the upper class to gather. And our Zhou family also occupies a share here. Zhou Xianhui said proudly. Yes. Lin Feng nodded and said nothing more. Since it is jointly owned by several major families in Beijing, it is not surprising that the Zhou family occupies a share. After all, with the strength of the Zhou family, this is inevitable to be without the Zhou family. At this time, a group of people walked over to Lin Feng and Zhou Xianhui. Mr. Zhou, you are here. Long time no see, Mr. Zhou. A group of people greeted Zhou Xianhui one after another. Then several people chatted casually. Several people on the side also saw Lin Feng, but seeing that Zhou Xianhui had no intention of introducing him, they did not dare to ask. Lin Feng was bored and watched Zhou Xianhui chatting and talking nonsense with these people. Zhou Xianhui on the side also noticed Lin Feng's boredom, so he said, Lin Feng, there is food over there. If you are hungry, you can go and eat something first. I will come to find you later. Yes. Lin Feng nodded. It happened that he hadn't eaten dinner yet, and his stomach was a little hungry, so he simply went to eat something and strolled around here. After Lin Feng finished speaking, he walked towards the side where the food was placed. Lin Feng walked to the food area and just picked up a plate to get some food. At this time, several young men in their 20s came over here, talking and laughing. Several of them were holding empty wine glasses in their hands, obviously coming to refill their wine. Lin Feng glanced at them and ignored them. As for greetings, there was no need, since they didn't know each other anyway. Why is the wine gone? The handsome man in a well-tailored suit at the hut said. The man really looked like a decent person. The only flaw was that his eyes were a little gloomy and his dark circles were heavy, which showed that he was overindulging himself. Hey, waiter. Bring me a bottle of red wine. The man shouted to Lin Feng. Lin Feng thought the man was calling other people, so he ignored him. He was looking at the table full of food and thinking about what to eat. Huh? The waiter called you, didn't you hear it? The young man frowned slightly and said with some displeasure. Lin Feng also heard this. He was a little confused and looked around him. No one. Could it be that he was called? Do I look like a waiter? Is there a waiter as handsome as me? Exclamation mark. Lin Feng thought speechlessly. Are you calling me? Lin Feng raised his head and looked at the man with a puzzled look. The man saw Lin Feng raised his head. He looked at him and was shocked. This waiter was even more handsome than himself. Nonsense, if I don't call you, do I call myself? There's no wine here. Hurry up and get me a bottle of the same. The man said unhappily. Sorry, I'm not a waiter here. Besides, have you ever seen such a handsome waiter? Lin Feng looked at the man speechlessly. Man. Lin Feng's words made the young man speechless instantly. Who the hell is this? He's even more narcissistic than him. If you are not a waiter, what are you doing here? The man asked. Lin Feng. Now it was Lin Feng's turn to be speechless. Is this an idiot? He looks like a decent person, but how can he ask such an idiotic question? Hey, who are you? I'm asking you a question. Speak up. The gloomy man said unhappily. Because a group of people were looking at him. And the guy in front of him actually looked at him like an idiot, and he was immediately upset. It doesn't matter who I am. As for why I'm here, that's nonsense. Of course I have to eat. Besides, none of this has anything to do with you, right? Lin Feng looked at the gloomy man as if he was looking at an idiot. The gloomy man. Can you talk? You have no manners at all. I really don't know how someone like you got in here. The gloomy man said with a happy face. Lin Feng. Lin Feng was speechless again. What the hell, he didn't say anything, and he became an idiot. Exclamation mark. Chapter 1084, Trouble. This gentleman who looks like a human being, I don't seem to have said anything, right? But you called me waiter right away, and then you kept saying fuck, who is the one who has no manners? Lin Feng said calmly while looking at the gloomy man. At this time, several people next to the gloomy man nodded one after another, and it seemed to be true. It was the gloomy man who recognized the wrong person first, and then Lin Feng said nothing, but the gloomy man was the first to speak rudely. Several people and the gloomy man just got together, and they haven't talked for a few words, and their identities are not clear, so there is no friendship or anything like that. Do you know who I am? Seeing Lin Feng's attitude, and the strange look in the eyes of several people next to him, the man was a little unhappy in an instant, and then he blurted out this sentence. Lin Feng. Lin Feng was speechless again. These so-called young masters, once it comes to their own face problems, do they all become mentally retarded in an instant? Exclamation mark. Obviously, he looks like a normal person. How come he becomes a mentally retarded child after just a few words? Exclamation mark. This is unscientific. I'm not your father, and you're not your son. Who are you and what does it have to do with me? Lin Feng looked at the gloomy man and said calmly. Ha ha ha. Lin Feng's words made the people around the gloomy man burst into laughter. There's nothing wrong with this. Old Iron 666. The laughter of others made the gloomy man's face turn red instantly. This is mad. He didn't expect Lin Feng to say such a thing. Are you looking for death? The gloomy man shouted angrily with a red face. Oh, no. I'm alive and well, why would I want to die? Lin Feng said casually. You know what's good for you. If you don't want to die, apologize to me immediately. The gloomy man's face eased and he said proudly. No, why should I apologize? I didn't say anything wrong, you are not my son, what's the problem? Lin Feng said lightly. Ha ha ha. Indeed, there's nothing wrong. Brother 666. Now the others couldn't help it at all, and laughed and said. Ah. You are the fucking one. I can't stand it anymore. Apologize. Otherwise I will never let you go. The gloomy man suddenly roared loudly. Lin Feng. Lin Feng was speechless in an instant. Why did this guy suddenly go crazy? I didn't seem to say anything, did I? Is he really a mentally retarded child? Exclamation mark. Oh, don't you want to never stop? Everyone is watching, I don't seem to have done anything, right? Why should I apologize? Lin Feng said speechlessly. The people around him nodded involuntarily. Indeed, Lin Feng said a few words, and the gloomy man exploded. This key-raising skill is really not practiced to the home. You're a jerk. Just because I'm from the He family. This place is owned by my family. If you don't apologize for what happened today, I'll let you go out lying down. The gloomy man shouted loudly. Oh my god. You're from the He family. No wonder you're so arrogant. The person next to him whispered. Oh, well, this place is owned by your family. Then what? What does it have to do with me? Lin Feng said calmly as always. Ah. Fuck you. I don't need anyone else. If I don't teach you a lesson today, I'm not the He surname. The gloomy man was completely furious. After saying that, he rushed towards Lin Feng. Lin Feng was speechless in his heart. Damn it, no matter where he went, he would always encounter such a ridiculous thing. I just wanted to eat something, is there anything wrong with that? Just as Lin Feng was thinking about it, the gloomy man surnamed he had already rushed in front of him with his fists waved. Alice. Lin Feng sighed, and then kicked out. Before the gloomy man could touch Lin Feng's sleeve, his whole body was kicked up and smashed onto the table behind where food was placed. Bang! Crack! Crash! Ah! A series of dingling sounds rang out, followed by another scream. The gloomy man had already smashed onto the food table, screaming in pain. Alice! You asked for it. Lin Feng muttered to himself. This scene instantly stunned everyone on the side. Damn it, just now they thought Lin Feng would be knocked to the ground by a punch, and then the two would fight. As a result, this is not at the same level at all. One-sided crushing. At this time, the gloomy man's head was full of wine and cakes, and he struggled to get up. He covered his chest, pointed his finger at Lin Feng and said tremblingly, You! Damn it, you actually dared to hit me. Your mother exploded, you are finished. Huh? Lin Feng frowned instantly. How dare you scold your family? Exclamation mark. It seems that this kick was not light enough. Say it again if you dare. Lin Feng looked at the gloomy man and said coldly. Seeing Lin Feng pretending to be awesome, the gloomy man also became angry. Fuck your mother. I said your mother exploded. The gloomy man roared in pain with all his strength. Swish. Lin Feng appeared in front of the gloomy man in an instant. Bang. Bang bang bang. Everyone only heard the sound of bang bang bang, and the gloomy man flew out again, and stopped only after hitting a pillar. You can scold me, but those who insult my parents will die. Lin Feng said with a frosty face and a cold tone. Wow. The others were shocked again in an instant. Exclamation mark. They glanced at the gloomy man who was spitting blood not far away. This is going to be a big deal. Exclamation mark. And the movement here also alarmed the people in other areas. Everyone walked over here. At this time, a group of people gathered around. Seeing the messy scene in front of them, especially seeing the gloomy man lying in a pool of blood, everyone was stunned. At this time, someone reacted and shouted loudly, Call an ambulance. Someone hurriedly made a phone call. The staff responsible for maintaining the scene in the venue also arrived at this time. The manager in charge was a little shocked and a little bit unbelievable. It's been so many years. How dare someone make trouble here? Exclamation mark. Don't you know that this is the territory of several major families in Beijing? Exclamation mark. It's just like touching the head of the Tai Sui, it's so annoying. Who did it? The manager in charge looked at the scene in front of him with a frosty face and said, Is it you? The manager in charge pointed at the group of people who had just been with the gloomy man surnamed He and said, If you're listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means they downloaded and uploaded it without effort. We cordially invite you to visit our channel, Mundo Fanfic Novelis. There you'll find the original version of this story and you can explore many other novels of various genres. We're waiting for you to immerse yourself in a world of incredible novels. Chapter 1085, The Gods Fight, The Little Ghosts Suffer. No, it's not us. Several people waved their hands quickly. This matter has become a big deal. They should quickly distance themselves from it. Otherwise, with their family relationship, they can't withstand the anger of several major families and the He family. Who did it? The leading manager said in a frosty tone. It's him. Yes, he did it. A group of people pointed at Lin Feng, who was expressionless on the other side, and said. Everyone looked over in the direction of the fingers of several people. Lin Feng had a calm face, with no expression on his face, and no joy or anger could be seen, as if this matter had nothing to do with him. You did it. The leading manager looked at Lin Feng and said coldly. It's me, so what? Lin Feng said calmly. Hey. Good, very good. No one has dared to make trouble here for many years. Just admit it. Come on, tie him up for me. The leading manager laughed in anger. Wait. Why don't you ask the reason for the incident? Lin Feng looked at the manager in charge calmly and said. Hey. Those who dare to make trouble here, I don't need to know your reasons. Go. Tie him up for me. And the guy who looks like a dead dog on the ground, drag him up. The manager in charge said with a domineering look. No matter what the reason is, as long as they dare to make trouble here, they will be arrested. This is the principle they always follow. Anyway, the truth is on their side, and they have the support of several major families, so what are they afraid of? Hey. Awesome. Since you don't ask the reason, don't blame me for being rude. Lin Feng also laughed in anger. Although he didn't want to cause trouble, he was not afraid of trouble. Dare to insult his parents, no matter if he is the king of heaven, he will be beaten. The dragon has reverse scales, and it will die if it is touched. Hearing Lin Feng's words, the manager in charge looked at him with disdain. You're welcome. I want to see how you can be rude. Go. If you dare to resist, just beat me. The leading manager said word by word. At this time, several big men in black behind the manager rubbed their fists and slowly surrounded Lin Feng. Lin Feng still looked at everyone calmly. Since they are unreasonable, then, let's fight. Several big men in black rushed towards Lin Feng with their fists waving. Just when Lin Feng wanted to kill them. Stop. A roar came from the crowd of onlookers. Everyone stopped involuntarily. Da. I saw a woman dressed sexy but like a strong woman, pushing the crowd and walking in. Lin Feng looked and saw that the person coming was Song Wanru, who he had just met at the door. What's going on? Song Wanru looked at the scene in front of her, frowned and asked. Miss Song, someone is making trouble here. I'm planning to arrest the troublemaker. The manager in charge said respectfully. There was no way. Today's banquet was organized by Song Wanru. Although the manager was not his man, Song Wanru was his employer at this time. Something happened in the venue at this time, and he really had an unshirkable responsibility. Making trouble. Where are the injured people? Have they been sent to the hospital? Song Wanru frowned and said. The injured person is here. I've called an ambulance, but they haven't come yet. As for the other one, it's this kid. I'm going to tie him up and see how to deal with him. The manager said slowly. Huh? Song Wanru looked at Lin Feng. She was stunned for a moment. She remembered that this man had just come with Zhou Zhanhu. And she also recognized the gloomy man who was dragged like a dead dog. He was from the He family. What a pitfall. She felt a headache at this time. Miss Song, don't worry, no one dares to cause trouble here. I'll catch this guy first. The manager in charge said confidently. Oh, let's talk about this later. Let's send the injured person to the hospital first. If something happens later, you can't bear the responsibility. Also, let your people go first. You can't touch this person in front of you. Song Wanru said to the manager in charge. Huh? Miss Song, please rest assured that no one dares to cause trouble here. I'll have someone tie this kid up first. Stop him from being so arrogant. The manager in charge looked at Lin Feng with disdain and said. Song Wanru. Is this guy so ignorant? Exclamation mark. He has said so much, but he still doesn't understand? Exclamation mark. He really thinks his life is too long. However, as the organizer today, she can't let the matter escalate, so although she is speechless about this matter and this manager, she has to come forward. This matter is not your business, understand? If you think your life is too long, just go and touch him. If you want to live, do as I say. Send the injured to the hospital immediately, and notify the He family. As for him, leave it to me. Song Wanru looked at the manager in charge and said coldly. The words have been said to this point. If he still doesn't understand, then this person is hopeless. She was too lazy to pay attention to him. Hiss. The He family. The manager in charge was almost scared to pee at this time. Quick, send Master He to the hospital. The manager shouted loudly to his men. This guy is from his own boss. Although I just handled my business impartially, but with my attitude just now, if the He family really pursues it, it will be a bad ending. I have to make up for it quickly. The manager said anxiously. Miss Song, what should we do now? Well, go and notify the He family now, and go to the front hall to find Mr. Zhou, and tell him that something happened here, and ask him to come over. Song Wanru said calmly. Mr. Zhou? The one from the Zhou family? The manager asked cautiously. Yes, it's Mr. Zhou Zhanhu. He's from the Zhou family. Song Wanru pointed at Lin Feng and said. Huh? The one from the Zhou family? The manager said in shock. Well, so, do you still want to kidnap someone? Song Wanru glanced at him and said lightly. Manager. The manager was really scared at this time. With his attitude just now, he still wanted to kidnap someone. Oh my god. This is fucking. I'm going to die today. Haven't the Zhou family and the He family always kept to themselves? Why are they fighting today? Question mark? The manager's face turned pale, as if he had lost her. This is really a fight between gods, and the little devils are suffering. Chapter 1086, Beaten unconscious and vomited blood. When Song Wanru saw the manager, his face was as pale as if his mother had died. He was still standing there stupidly, and she was furious. What are you still doing here? Go and notify someone. Song Wonru scolded. Huh? Oh. I'll go right away. The manager reacted and spoke immediately. After speaking, he hurried to the front hall. Lin Feng stood aside and watched all this coldly. Oh, there is no need to fight now, that's just right. Anyway, I am not a violent person, it's better not to do it. Song Wonru looked at Lin Feng with a complicated expression. Then she walked forward and said helplessly, "Little brother, what's going on?" Lin Feng glanced at her and said calmly, "I'm speechless about this. I just came here to eat something, but that guy kept picking on me, and I couldn't do anything about it. As for why it turned out like this, you have to ask him. You can scold me with rude words, but insult my parents, haha, I think he is tired of living. You can ask them about the specific situation, they are here the whole time. Although I don't want to cause trouble, I'm not afraid of it. What do you want? Come on, I'll take it all." Lin Feng said word by word. After listening to Lin Feng's words, Song Wonru roughly understood what was going on. It's just a small thing. How did it turn out like this? Then she turned her head and looked at the onlookers with a serious face. Is it the same as he said? Song Wonru asked. Yes, basically the same. They just said a few words, and then young master he went crazy and rushed up to hit people, and then things turned out like this. This matter really has nothing to do with us. We are just passing by. Several people hurriedly explained. There is no way. This woman is not easy to mess with, and this place is not easy to mess with, but the He family and the Zhou family are even more difficult to mess with. They are small fish and shrimps, and if they sneeze, the whole family will be finished. Song Wonru was also speechless at this time. This young master he is making trouble. A banquet hosted by himself, and the business has not started yet, but he has caused trouble for himself. He is so unlucky. At this time, Zhou Zhenhe came over surrounded by a group of people. He walked to Lin Feng and said, "Lin Feng, what's going on?" He asked softly. "Oh, third uncle, this is the case." Lin Feng explained to Zhou Zhenhe again. "Third uncle. This." Song Wonru heard Lin Feng address Zhou Zhenhe. She was a little confused. When did Zhou Zhenhe have such a nephew? Exclamation mark. The others around also heard what Lin Feng said. Hiss. Everyone who had heard the name Lin Feng took a breath of cold air. Lin Feng? Question mark. So this man is the son of that little witch back then? Question mark. And the last time the Yi family was in trouble, it was said that Lin Feng did it. Yi Xianlong's son is still lying in the hospital and seems to have become a disabled person. And Zhou Zhenbang rushed back from the southwest overnight for him, and made a harsh statement that whoever dared to touch Lin Feng would be waiting to bear the wrath of the Zhou family. At that time, the elders of various families in Beijing ordered not to provoke Lin Feng in the future. These days, it was rumored that someone in the Zhou family wanted to make Lin Feng the successor of the Zhou family. Yes, he is the only male in the 3 generations of the Zhou family. The others are all daughters. It would be strange if Mr. Zhou didn't love them. So it is natural to want him to be the successor of the Zhou family. Everyone looked at Lin Feng, who was talking to Zhou Zhenhe calmly with a complicated look on their faces. This is definitely the prince of the Zhou family. He just had a fight with the people of the Yi family a few days ago, and now he is fighting with the people of the He family. How can he be troublesome by nature, or is he a devil? Question mark. A group of people looked at each other and thought speechlessly. If Lin Feng could hear what they were saying, he would definitely shout that he was wronged. Damn, who knows why he always runs into such a stupid thing. A mentally retarded child. As for Lin Feng, as he explained, the more Zhou Zhenhe listened, the colder his face became. In the air, it seemed that the temperature had dropped by several degrees. In his own territory, someone dared to insult Lin Feng's mother, his younger sister? Exclamation mark. His younger sister has suffered so much over the years. If she comes back, the whole family will think about how to make up for Lin Feng's family. Not to mention that the old man now treats Lin Feng like a treasure. Someone from the He family? So what about the He family? With the current strength of the Zhou family, they are not afraid of anyone. Not to mention that I am furious now. If my second brother knew that my younger sister was insulted by others, I am afraid he would bring the army to kill people. Not to mention my father. With the love and concern of the old man for Lin Feng, if he knew that his grandson was bullied by others, I am afraid that the whole Chinese land will be shaken. Where is the person in charge here? Get over here. Where is the son of a bitch who scolded my sister now? Zhou Xianhu said with a frost on his face. Mr. Joe, I'm here, I'm here. The manager said hurriedly. Huh? What do you do for a living? My nephew was almost kidnapped by his own people in his own territory. Who gave you the courage? Zhou Xianhu scolded the manager. Sorry, Mr. J, I didn't know he was your nephew. The manager felt extremely bitter and bowed his head to apologize. It was really an unprovoked disaster. Land show, mushroom. Why did this happen when I was on duty? This luck is unmatched. It seems that if nothing happens this time, I must go to the temple to burn incense and worship Buddha. It's really damn unlucky. Where is that damn Huzi? Zhou Xianhu said angrily. That? Mr. J, the person has been sent to the hospital. The manager looked at Lin Feng carefully and said. Huh? Sent to the hospital. Zhou Xianhu was a little confused. Did Lin Feng say that they had a few quarrels and then he kicked the guy twice? Question mark. Zhou Xianhu turned his head to look at Lin Feng, and seeing that Lin Feng had a calm face, he turned his head to look at the manager and said, No, he's fine, why do you want to send him to the hospital? Oh, well, this young master he was beaten by young master Lin Feng until he vomited blood and passed out. I was afraid that someone would die, so I asked people to send young master he to the hospital first. Then the manager looked at Lin Feng again, and seeing that he had a blank expression, he spoke cautiously. Chapter 1087 A Violent Person. Zhou Xianhu. Oh, Lin Feng, didn't you say that you just kicked that bastard twice? Zhou Xianhu looked at Lin Feng with a complicated expression and said. Yes, I just kicked him twice, probably only 7 or 8 ribs were broken. Lin Feng said casually. Zhou Xianhu. The onlookers. This is. No wonder my eldest brother said before that Lin Feng is a violent person. How long has Lin Feng been in Beijing? First, he broke 7 or 8 ribs of the military training instructor at the beginning of the school, then he broke the legs of Yu Xianlong's son, and now he broke 7 or 8 ribs of the young master of the He family and made him unconscious. This. Zhou Xianhu looked at Lin Feng with a complicated expression, not knowing what to say. But this is not the time to talk about this. Now he must seize the fact that the people from the He family insulted his younger sister. As long as the reason is on his side, no one can do anything to him. You all saw this. It was indeed that bastard Huzi from the He family who insulted my younger sister first, and then tried to hit Lin Feng first, so Lin Feng had no choice but to take action, right? Zhou Xianhu said to the group of young people. Yes, that's true. That's right, it was indeed young master He who made the first mistake. Yes, he was the first to take action, and young master Lin was just defending himself. At first, young master Lin Feng just kicked young master He lightly, and then young master He spoke rudely again, so young master Lin took action. Well, it was me, I couldn't help insulting my parents. So, young master Lin is not wrong. The crowd of onlookers spoke up one after another. There was no way, Zhou Xianhu said that, they couldn't help but express their opinions. And it was indeed the case. It's just that no one expected Lin Feng to hit so hard. Yes, Zhou Xianhu nodded with satisfaction. Bullshit. At this moment, an angry curse came from outside the crowd. Everyone looked in the direction where the sound came from. A middle-aged man with a face full of flesh pushed through the crowd and came over with a large group of people. Laor, what the hell are you yelling about? What's the big deal with more people? Zhou Xianhu looked at the newcomer with a look of disdain and said. Zhou Laozhen, you are talking bullshit. My son was beaten seriously by your nephew, and you are inciting the crowd to distort the facts. Do you have the nerve? Laor's face was shaking with flesh, and he shouted loudly. Laor, you are talking bullshit. Everyone present knows that it was your son who started it first. Fuck, he even dared to scold my younger sister. I think he is tired of living. Zhou Xianhu pointed at Laor and shouted back. Bullshit. My son didn't even know that the boy was your sister's son. Besides, isn't it normal for young people to swear when they quarrel? The problem now is that my son was beaten seriously by your nephew and is still in the hospital for treatment. Laor said angrily. He asked for it. I wanted to hit someone, but I couldn't. Who can I blame? Zhou Xianhu said with disdain. Zhou Laozhen, you are bullshitting. The kids were arguing, but this guy was so cruel. Is he still right? Laor pointed at Lin Feng and shouted angrily. Sorry, interrupt me. Uncle San, Let me say a few words. Lin Feng suddenly said. Sir, according to what you said, if your son wants to hit me, I have to not fight back and let him hit me. Lin Feng looked at Hilaor calmly and said. You are making up grounds. Fighting is fine, but is there anyone who is so cruel as you? Besides, it's the same thing. Young people just had a few verbal quarrels. Is it necessary to make such a big fuss? Hilaor shouted angrily. So according to what you said, sir, if two people quarrel and your son scolds me, I have to accept it with a smile. Well, then if I am quarreling with you now, and I greet your whole family, even your mother, and I have been greeting you for 3 days and 3 nights, shouldn't you just smile and let it go? Lin Feng said calmly. Fuck you. Say it again, kid. Believe it or not, I will kill you. Hilaor was so excited by Lin Feng's words that he jumped up instantly. Look, sir, you are anxious. I just scolded you a few words casually, and you exploded. So what qualifications do you have to say about others? So no man can stand being insulted by someone with his family, not to mention scolding you and hitting you. Can you stand it? Anyway, I can't stand it. Lin Feng said lightly. Then you can't be so heavy. Hilaor knew that he was in the wrong, but he still pulled his neck and spoke forcefully. As for my heavy hand. Sorry, I have restrained myself, otherwise your son might have. As Lin Feng spoke, he suddenly raised his foot and stomped hard on the ground. Bang! Crack! Like this floor, it's broken into pieces. Everyone present looked in the direction of Lin Feng's foot. The exquisite marble floor tile under Lin Feng's feet had now broken into pieces of gravel. Hiss! Everyone opened their mouths slightly, stunned. Is this still a human? This is not a human! Exclamation mark. Hilaor also opened his mouth slightly at this time, unable to speak. What the hell? What should he say? What should he say? Thank you for your mercy, little brother? He came here to seek justice for his son. Why did it become like this now? Exclamation mark. Hilaor was confused. Hilaor, did you hear that? My nephew has shown mercy. If you want to blame someone, blame your son. He deserves to be beaten. You have no sense at all. Is there a waiter as handsome as my nephew? Dumb, you look so arrogant and look down on others. Zhou Zhenhe said with a look of disgust. Zhou Laozhen, you. Don't bother me. You hurt someone. If you don't give an explanation for this matter, it won't end. Hilaor said with an angry look on his face. Oh, what explanation do you want? Pay 18,000 yuan to your son as medical expenses. If your He family is short of this money, you should have told me earlier and I would have transferred it to you immediately. Zhou Zhenhe looked at Hilaor with disdain and said. You. Okay, very good. Zhou Laozhen, you are so cruel. Just wait and see. Hilaor said angrily with a red face. Chapter 1088 The Perfect Son-in-Law. No need for later, I'm here now, you can look at me boldly. Zhou Zhenhe said meanly. Hilaor. How can he answer this? Exclamation mark. Damn, he was originally in the wrong in this matter. Even if it gets out of hand, it will only make his family embarrassed. If he wants to blame someone, he can only blame his son. He can't beat others, but he still provokes others. My He family will remember this. Let's go. Finally, Hilaor looked at Lin Feng and Zhou Zhenhe fiercely, turned around and left with his people. The onlookers all had complicated faces at this time. They once again witnessed the power of the Zhou family. Just relying on the name of the Zhou family, everything can be suppressed. There is no way. Who let the Zhou family have 3 heroes? Almost everyone is at the top of China. And it is said that Mr. Zhou's health has improved. Who dares to provoke their Zhou family now? Didn't you see that the people of the He family just left helplessly and angrily? Exclamation mark. The Zhou family is in its heyday. Lin Feng, good boy. You are amazing. That old man Hilaor was stunned by you. Awesome. Zhou Zhenhe said to Lin Feng without any concealment. Zhou Zhenhe said this in front of everyone, he was really not low-key at all. Oh, third uncle, I am just telling the truth. Lin Feng said helplessly. And the people on the side also looked at Lin Feng with complicated expressions. This young man is not easy to mess with. Not to mention his identity. Just the move that just shattered the marble floor tiles is enough to make everyone in awe. This power. It's inhuman. The Zhou family is now in the limelight, and Lin Feng is so strong. If the rumor is true, Mr. Zhou wants Lin Feng to take over. Then the Zhou family in the future will probably be even more terrifying than it is now. Everyone couldn't help but think of it in their hearts. Okay, it's okay, it's okay. Everyone, go do what you need to do, go away. Zhou Zhenhe saw that everyone was still gathered here, waved his hand and said casually. Seeing Zhou Zhenhe said this, everyone couldn't continue to gather around, so they dispersed one after another. Continue to talk about their business cooperation and the like. After all, everyone came here tonight with a purpose. If we can promote 1 or 2 business cooperations, then tonight will not be in vain. After all, the admission fee is very high. Nonsense, of course it is high. Do you really think that Song Wonru held this dinner for charity? Exclamation mark. Of course there is a purpose, to expand her business and make a wave of favors. Of course, by the way, collect a wave of ticket money, there is no way, the cost of renting this place is not cheap. As for why no one charged Zhou Zhenhe and Lin Feng when they came? Nonsense. The Zhou family already has a share here. Who dares to charge him? And they can't wait for him to come. Mr. Master Lin Feng, I'm sorry. I frightened Master Lin Feng. It's my fault as the organizer that this happened. At this time, Song Wonru walked to the side of Zhou Zhenhe and Lin Feng, and said apologetically. Oh, what are you talking about? It's Lin Feng who caused you trouble. It affected the order of the venue. This kid is really something, why don't you drag him out and beat him up? He broke so many things, what a waste of money. Zhou Zhenhe said with a smile. Lin Feng. Song Wonru. What the hell? Zhou Zhenhe said this. And dragged him out and beat him up. Sure enough, the Zhou family has 3 heroes, none of them are easy to mess with. Song Wonru thought to herself. Oh, Mr. J is joking. Come on, I toast Mr. J and Master Lin Feng. Just consider it as an apology to Lin Feng, drink a glass of wine to calm your nerves. Song Wonru smiled gently and said. Then she called a waiter, and each of them took a glass of red wine and clinked it, and then drank it. Then several people started chatting casually. Hearing that Lin Feng was still studying in Tsinghua and Peking University, and that he entered Tsinghua and Peking University as the top scorer in the country, Song Wonru was instantly shocked. Don't look at her as a woman and a businessman. But she is also a cultured person. So she also knows what it means to get full marks in the National College Entrance Examination in China. That is probably harder than climbing to the sky. After all, the college entrance examination system is there. Master Lin Feng is really young and promising. Song Wonru said sincerely. Hey, Ms. Song is too kind, I'm just an ordinary student. Lin Feng said modestly with a smile. Oh, Master Lin Feng is modest. Song Wonru was stunned for a moment, and said with a smile. Damn, if you were an ordinary college student, there would be no one else. Not to mention Lin Feng's identities. She just saw it with her own eyes. During the confrontation with Helior, Lin Feng had a calm face throughout the whole process, and his face did not fluctuate at all. Just the calmness and ruthlessness of Lin Feng, is this what an ordinary student should have? Exclamation mark. This Lin Feng is not simple. Song Wonru complained in her heart. After chatting with a few people casually for a while, Song Wonru said goodbye and left. After all, as the organizer of the banquet, she still has a lot of things to do. Then Zhou Zhenhe took Lin Feng and strolled around the banquet hall casually. Mr. Zhou, long time no see. This is Lin Feng, Master Lin. Sure enough, he is a handsome man. Not bad, the world will be yours in the future. Zia Long, come here and learn from Master Lin Feng. You young people can communicate more. Some bigwigs in the Beijing business community came over and spoke. There are even some bigwigs who want to introduce their daughters to Lin Feng. There is no way, Lin Feng's status and position are there. In addition, everyone can see Lin Feng's methods from the incident just now. Lin Feng is definitely not comparable to ordinary people. If his daughter can marry Lin Feng, it is equivalent to holding the thigh of the Zhou family. It's hard not to take off. Lin Feng and Zhou Zhenhe smiled the whole time, pretending to be nice to these people. Both of them knew the thoughts of these business tycoons very well. There is no way, it is normal for businessmen to pursue profits. After learning that Lin Feng already has a fiancée, everyone couldn't help but show a look of disappointment. What's more, they kept hinting that they didn't mind their daughter being a mistress. This made Lin Feng even more speechless about these people. Damn it, people used to say that the royal family has no family affection. The businessmen of this big family are profit-seeking and have no family affection. In the eyes of these people, feelings are not as good as the contracts of several projects. In fact, Lin Feng misunderstood them. The main reason is that the Zhou family has a thick thigh. And Lin Feng is also very handsome, capable and means. This is simply the perfect son-in-law in their minds. After chatting with these people casually for a while, Lin Feng felt very boring. These old guys, all pretending to be nice, not a word of truth, which made Lin Feng a little bored. So after saying something to Zhou Zhenhua, he picked up a glass of wine and walked to the rockery nearby. He looked at the koi in the pond, drank red wine, and casually teased the fish. Chapter 1089, Becoming Famous Overnight. Hey, brother Lin Feng, do you mind me being here? Suddenly a voice sounded behind Lin Feng. Lin Feng turned around and looked at the person who came. It was a young man who was about the same age as Lin Feng. Whatever you want. Lin Feng said casually. Okay, thank you, brother Lin Feng. The young man smiled and said. Then he leaned on the railing casually and sipped the red wine in his hand. Brother Lin Feng, actually, I should thank you. The young man said softly after taking a sip of red wine. Lin Feng looked up at the man with a puzzled look. My last name is Yi, brother Lin Feng should know that, right? The young man with the surname Yi said with a smile. Who is Wang Mao Long Jie to you? Lin Feng suddenly remembered something and said casually. Wang Mao Long Jie, this name really suits him. He is my cousin. Let's meet formally. My name is Yi Chen, from the Yi family in Beijing. Yi Chen stretched out his right hand to Lin Feng and said softly. Hello. Lin Feng hesitated, but still stretched out his right hand and shook hands with him. Brother Lin Feng, please rest assured. I came to you not to avenge my cousin. My cousin is just a jerk. You can't blame brother Lin Feng. Yi Chen said slowly. It seems that the Yi family is not as united as imagined. The family affection is weak. This may be the sadness of a big family. Although it is not ruled out that Yi Chen is deliberately trying to confuse himself. But so what? Lin Feng was not afraid of anyone before, not to mention that he now has the support of the entire Zhou family behind him. Lin Feng thought to himself. Then the few of them chatted casually for a few words. At this time, Zhou Zhenhua came over with a cigarette in his mouth. Hello, Uncle Zhou. Yi Chen greeted Zhou Zhenhua respectfully. Zhou Zhenhua nodded casually. Then Yi Chen apologized and picked up the wine glass and left. Lin Feng, why is this kid from the Yi family here? Looking for trouble? Zhou Zhenhua asked casually. Hey. Just came here to chat casually. Lin Feng also answered casually. Yes. Don't be fooled by the gentle and elegant appearance of this kid from the Yi family. This kid is not simple. Especially after Yi Xianlong's son was crippled by you, he completely took over. This kind of person, be more careful when dealing with him in the future, it will definitely not hurt. Zhou Zhenhua said. Yes. This Yi Chen is indeed not simple. Third uncle, I know, I will pay attention. Lin Feng nodded and said. Well, it's getting late, I'll take you back to school. I have to go back and tell your eldest uncle about this matter today, so as not to leave any handles for gossip. Zhou Zhenhua said slowly after spitting out a puff of cigarette. Yes. This matter today has caused trouble for the uncles again. Lin Feng said. Oh, what are you talking about? It's just a small matter. Zhou Zhenhua patted Lin Feng on the shoulder and said. Okay, let's go. Zhou Zhenhua took the last puff of his cigarette, put it out and said. Okay. Lin Feng replied. Then the two of them walked out of the club's door side by side. And after this night, Lin Feng's name resounded throughout the upper class of Beijing. After Zhou Zhenhua and Lin Feng walked out of the club's door, the driver Xiao Wang had already driven the extended version of Lincoln to the club's door and waited. Then, the two got on the car. About 30 minutes later, the extended version of Lincoln slowly stopped downstairs of the male dormitory of the School of Computer Science of Tsinghua University and Peking University. At this time, many students who had been out and came back one after another saw this extended version of Lincoln and were instantly surprised. Fuck. Lincoln. This is an extended version. Awesome. I wonder which local tycoon's second generation is this. Everyone pointed and whispered about this extended version of Lincoln. Some students even took out their mobile phones and took pictures of this extended version of Lincoln. Amid the discussion, Lin Feng slowly opened the door and got out of the car. Uncle, you've drunk a lot of wine. Go back and have a rest early. Lin Feng said to Zhou Zhenhe in the car. Okay, you kid, go in quickly. Uncle knows, you nagging ghost. Where is the cold-blooded Lin Feng just now? Zhou Zhenhe joked. Oh, okay, I'll go in. Uncle, you go back. Lin Feng said with a helpless smile. Then he waved his hand and turned away without waiting for Zhou Zhenhe to speak. Oh, this kid. Zhou Zhenhe shook his head. Xiao Wang, let's go back to, back to the military district family compound. Zhou Zhenhe told the driver Xiao Wang in front. Okay, boss. The driver Xiao Wang said respectfully. Then he started the car, and the extended Lincoln slowly disappeared into the night. Lin Feng looked back at the gradually disappearing extended Lincoln, smiled, and then stepped into the door of the boys' dormitory. Lin Feng was too lazy to walk up the stairs, so he took the elevator upstairs. Catcha. Lin Feng opened the door of the dormitory. Fuck, second brother, go ahead. Fuck, this guy is so arrogant. Damn, fourth brother, can you do it? Where can you put your skills? Second brother, come here and help me. Throw the thunder at Lu Mu. Hit the head of Jia and die. Damn, you dare to bully me. As soon as Lin Feng opened the door, he saw Chen Donggyun and others playing games, and shouted excitedly. Chen Donggyun and his friends each had a cigarette in their mouths, puffing out smoke while typing on the keyboard. The whole dormitory was filled with smoke and a strong smell of tobacco. That feeling, that smell, just like an internet cafe. Lin Feng shook his head helplessly. Damn, these guys are still convinced, so excited in the middle of the night. At this time, Chen Donggyun also found Lin Feng at the door. Boss, you're back. Chen Donggyun pulled off his headphones and smiled at Lin Feng. Well, it's late, it's almost time, it's enough, it affects other people's rest. Lin Feng said casually. He put the briefcase in his hand on his desk and took out a cigarette from the 9-5 Supreme cigarette box on Chen Donggyun's desk. Lin Feng was looking for a lighter. Pop. Chen Donggyun immediately lit up the lighter for Lin Feng. Inhale. Huff. Lin Feng took a deep puff of the cigarette and then slowly blew out a smoke ring. Boss, we will stop playing immediately after this round. Chen Donggyun said in a flattering manner. Yes. Lin Feng nodded casually. Then, Chen Donggyun put on his headphones and continued to charge in the game. At this moment, Lin Feng's phone suddenly rang. Chapter 1090 Feeling empty. Holding the blue and white token quietly and keeping the promise, parting is always spent in frustration. Lin Feng took out his mobile phone and saw that it was Zhang Yuxi. At this time, what's wrong with this little fool? Lin Feng hurriedly pressed the answer button, then opened the door and walked out to the corridor. Hello, wife, what's wrong? Lin Feng said softly. Husband, have you finished your business? Zhang Yuxi's sweet and moving voice came from the other end of the phone. Yes, I just got back to the dormitory. Wife, what's wrong with you? Lin Feng asked with some concern. Nothing, just wanted to ask if you are back. Zhang Yuxi said softly. Are you sure it's okay? Wife, doesn't your husband know you yet? What's wrong? Are you in conflict with your roommate? Lin Feng asked softly and gently. No. I just suddenly felt a little empty in my heart. Husband, I suddenly miss you so much? Zhang Yuxi was silent for a while, and suddenly spoke in a low voice. My silly wife, your husband misses you too. Wife, get up and get dressed right now, and wait for me downstairs in the dormitory. I'll be there soon. Lin Feng said softly. Hubby, it's so late, no need. Zhang Yuxi was stunned for a moment, and hurriedly said. Be good, change your clothes and wait for me. Wife, I miss you too. Lin Feng said gently. Okay, you change your clothes now, I'll be there now. Wait for me for a few minutes, hang up. Without waiting for Zhang Yuxi to speak, Lin Feng hung up the phone. He returned to the dormitory and wanted to get the car keys to drive, but suddenly remembered that he had just drunk some wine. Although Lin Feng knew that he had no problem. But as a good citizen who abides by the law, Lin Feng decided not to drive. After all, driving irregularly will bring tears to relatives. So Lin Feng patted Chen Donggyun on the shoulder. Boss, what's wrong? Chen Donggyun took off his headphones, then looked at Lin Feng with a puzzled look and asked. Well, Lao Si, I just drank a little bit, so it's not convenient for me to drive. You drive me to the female dormitory of the School of Finance. Lin Feng said. Oh, okay. Chen Donggyun nodded. How long do you have left? Why don't you finish this game first? Lin Feng said. Boss, no, let's go. Without me, let Lauer and Lao San, these two guys get abused. It's also good for them to know my importance and let them dislike me all day long. Chen Dongyun said casually. Okay, let's go. Just take me to the female dormitory of the School of Finance. Lin Feng nodded and said when he saw him say that. Soon the two took the elevator and came to the underground parking lot under the dormitory building. At this time, Chen Kun and Suhi didn't know that the two were no longer in the dormitory. Still addicted to the game, unable to extricate themselves, charging into battle. Boss, do I need to wait for you and pick you up later? Chen Dongyun asked Lin Feng in the car. No, I won't go back to the dormitory tonight. Don't play when you go back later. Go to bed early. Oh, by the way, bring my textbooks tomorrow. Lin Feng said casually. Ajbk. Although Chen Dongyun was puzzled as to why Lin Feng was going out again after just coming back, he didn't ask much. Because he knew that Lin Feng must have his own things to do. Soon the car was about to arrive at the downstairs of the girls' dormitory of the School of Finance. At this time, Zhang Yuxi was already standing downstairs of the dormitory waiting for Lin Feng. Fortunately, Tsinghua University and Peking University are more humane, and there is no curfew, dormitory inspection, etc. As long as there is no problem, the dormitory is generally unattended. Otherwise, it would not be so convenient for Lin Feng and Zhang Yuxi. At this time, there were also many couples who had just returned from outside walking downstairs of the girls' dormitory of the School of Finance. Everyone was used to it. Anyway, they are all adults and are responsible for their own behavior. As long as nothing serious happens, the school will not care about these things. Chen Dongyun parked the car steadily next to Zhang Yuxi. Lin Feng opened the car door and walked down. Zhang Yuxi looked at Lin Feng with a sweet smile on her face. Hello, sister-in-law. Chen Dongyun smiled at Zhang Yuxi. Hello, you too. Zhang Yuxi said with a smile. Well, Lao Si, you go back first. Lin Feng said to Chen Dongyun. Okay, boss, sister-in-law, I'll go back first. Chen Dongyun waved at Lin Feng and Zhang Yuxi and said. Yes. Lin Feng and Zhang Yuxi also waved at Chen Dongyun. Then Chen Dongyun stepped on the accelerator, and the car disappeared in front of the two people. Lin Feng and Zhang Yuxi looked at Chen Dongyun's disappearing back and retracted their gaze. Hubby, why don't you drive? Zhang Yuxi said with some doubts. I drank a little, so I won't drive. Safety first. Lin Feng pinched Zhang Yuxi's little nose and said. Yes. Then husband, where are we going now? Zhang Yuxi asked softly. Where are we going now? It's so late, I don't know if my parents are asleep yet, it's not good to go home, so let's go to the old place. Lin Feng thought for a while and said. The old place. Where? Zhang Yuxi asked with a puzzled look on her face. It's the hotel we stayed in before, little fool. Lin Feng smiled gently. Oh, I see. Also, don't call me a little fool outside, or you'll really make me stupid later. HMPH. Zhang Yuxi tilted her head and snorted, and said. Hey. Okay, dear, let's go. After saying that, Lin Feng took Zhang Yuxi's hand, and the two slowly walked towards the school gate. Hubby, I don't know what's wrong with me tonight, I just want to be by your side. Will you find me annoying? As the two walked, Zhang Yuxi suddenly spoke softly. Little fool, how could that be? Hubby, I wish I could stick to you all the time, how could I find you annoying? Lin Feng said gently. Hubby, you're so nice. Zhang Yuxi said happily. Haha, my little fool, if my husband doesn't treat you well, who can he treat well? Lin Feng said with a smile. The two walked slowly on the bluestone road of the campus. The dim street lights in the campus shone on them. This scene was as beautiful as a painting. Hubby, National Day is coming soon. Let's go back to Shanghai with our parents. I miss my parents a little bit too. Zhang Yuxi suddenly said. Okay, let's go back to see our parents together. Lin Feng said softly. Great. Zhang Yuxi said happily. Then Zhang Yuxi held Lin Feng's hand and walked back and forth. The happiness in her heart was revealed without a doubt. Chapter 1091. A constitution that brings trouble. Just as the two were walking slowly. In the Beijing family compound, Zhou Zhenhe and Zhou Zhenguo were sitting in the study. Brother, this is what happened. Zhou Zhenhe told Zhou Zhenhe what happened tonight. Alice. Lin Feng, This kid really has a physique that brings troubles. It's only been a short time, and there are always troubles wherever he goes. It's really ridiculous. Zhou Zhangguo couldn't help but sigh after hearing what Zhou Zhenhua said. Brother, this matter really can't be blamed on Lin Feng. It was the kid from the He family who started the trouble first. Zhou Zhenhua spoke up for Lin Feng. I know it's not his fault, but I just sigh that some people may really be born to be the protagonist. Wherever they go, some people will jump out and be stepped on by the protagonist. Maybe Lin Feng is one of the protagonists in this world. Zhou Zhangguo said something that was out of character and didn't match his usual words. Okay, big brother, don't think too much. Although Lin Feng occasionally causes trouble, he still knows his limits when it comes to big things. Zhou Zhenhua said softly. Yes. By the way, don't tell the second brother and the old man about this, otherwise I'm afraid they will come to our house. They treat Lin Feng like a treasure now. If they know, this matter may not end so well. Zhou Zhangguo thought about it and said helplessly. Well, big brother, I know. Zhou Zhenhua nodded and replied. And Lin Feng had no way of knowing these. At this time, he and Zhang Yuxi walked slowly and soon walked out of the school gate. When they walked to the side of the road, Lin Feng stopped a taxi and the two got in. After Lin Feng reported the address, the driver stepped on the accelerator and the car drove away from the gate of Tsinghua University. About 20 minutes later, the two arrived at the square near the hotel. Considering that Zhang Yuxi was shy, Lin Feng told the driver the address of this square. The hotel was less than 200 meters away from the square. After getting off the car, they walked for a few minutes to the hotel. After completing the formalities, the two took the elevator upstairs with a door card. It was still the 5-star hotel where they stayed yesterday, and Lin Feng still booked a luxury suite. Anyway, Lin Feng was not short of money, so why should he wrong himself? Catcha. After the two opened the door, they walked in. Zhang Yuxi threw herself on the sofa at once. Hubby, I'm so tired. Zhang Yuxi said coquettishly. Little fool, it's normal to be tired after walking for so long. Take a few minutes to take a shower. We'll rest after taking a shower. It's getting late. Lin Feng also sat on the sofa, looking at Zhang Yuxi with a doting face and said. Hubby, I don't want to take a shower. I'm so tired. I just want to lie down now. Zhang Yuxi said lazily. No. Good girl, you've been sweating all the way, you need to take a shower. You'll feel better after taking a shower. Lin Feng pretended to be stern and said. But, I'm lazy and don't want to move. Zhang Yuxi said coquettishly. Silly wife, dear, it's getting late, take a shower quickly, and go to bed early after taking a shower. Lin Feng said with a helpless smile. Zhang Yuxi glanced at the clock on the wall, and it was indeed very late. Okay then. Zhang Yuxi said aggrievedly. Okay, dear, take a shower quickly. Lin Feng pinched Zhang Yuxi's delicate little face and said gently. You're annoying. You've pinched my face so big. Zhang Yuxi slapped Lin Feng's hand away and said coquettishly. Ha. You're really a little fool, how could you pinch it so big? Okay, take a shower quickly. Lin Feng said. Hubby, then help me get my clothes. Zhang Yuxi said coquettishly. Lin Feng shook his head. Why is Zhang Yuxi, this silly girl, acting like a spoiled child all the time today? However, this little fool is so cute when she acts like a spoiled child. Okay. My husband will get you some clothes, you go first. Then Lin Feng took the clothes to the bathroom for Zhang Yuxi. Okay, Zio Lindsay, you can leave now. Zhang Yuxi stood in the bathroom and waved at Lin Feng. Hey, little fool, I really can't do anything with you. Seeing Zhang Yuxi's funny look, Lin Feng smiled and said. Then he closed the bathroom door for Zhang Yuxi and turned away. About 10 minutes later, Zhang Yuxi came out of the shower. Lin Feng gently dried Zhang Yuxi's hair, and took the hairdryer to help her dry her hair, and then Zhang Yuxi returned to the room with satisfaction. Zhang Yuxi enjoyed Lin Feng's gentle and considerate care. At this time, she lay on the bed with her eyes slightly closed, and sleepiness came up, and she felt that the eyelids of her two eyes were fighting. Lin Feng gently put her on the bed and gently covered her with a quilt. Then he turned off the main light in the room, leaving only a night light on at the head of the bed. He walked out of the room quietly and returned to the bathroom. After a simple shower, he returned to the room again. At this time, Zhang Yuxi had fallen asleep, and the sound of her subtle and steady breathing rang in the room. After all, they had walked for such a long time, and the two had just played around for a while, so Zhang Yuxi was really tired. Lin Feng tiptoed to the bed, fearing that he would wake Zhang Yuxi up with a little noise. After tucking Zhang Yuxi's quilt again, Lin Feng gently kissed her forehead. Then he smiled, took the phone on the bedside table and took a look. At this time, it was almost 1 o'clock in the morning. Lin Feng put down his phone and prepared to go to bed. Pop! The lights went out. Good night, my wife. Good night, the whole world. Lin Feng woke up early the next morning. Lin Feng glanced at Zhang Yuxi, who was still sleeping. This little fool was holding Lin Feng's arm tightly and would not let go. It seemed that she was afraid that Lin Feng would disappear in her sleep. Lin Feng gently took Zhang Yuxi's hand away, and then tiptoed out of bed. Zhang Yuxi groaned, and then slowly opened her eyes. She rubbed her sleepy eyes. She reached out and touched nothing. Then she was shocked. A little scared. Husband, where are you? Zhang Yuxi said with a crying voice. At this time, Lin Feng had just changed his clothes and was about to open the door of the room. Suddenly, he heard Zhang Yuxi's crying voice calling. Huh? What's wrong, wife? Husband is here. Lin Feng said quickly. Husband, where are you going? I'm scared. Zhang Yuxi said in a low voice. Little fool, don't be afraid, your husband is here. Husband, I just want to go downstairs to buy breakfast. Lin Feng gently patted Zhang Yuxi's back and spoke softly. Husband, don't go, I'm scared. Zhang Yuxi said with a crying voice. Don't be afraid, did you have a nightmare? Husband is here, don't be afraid. Lin Feng continued to comfort her. After comforting Zhang Yuxi for a while, Lin Feng saw that it was almost dawn, so he said, Wife, you stay awake for a while and wait for me. Your husband will go to buy breakfast and will be back soon, okay? Lin Feng coaxed Zhang Yuxi like coaxing a child. If you're listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means they downloaded and uploaded it without effort. We cordially invite you to visit our channel, Mundo Fanfic Novelis. There you'll find the original version of this story and you can explore many other novels of various genres. We're waiting for you to immerse yourself in a world of incredible novels. Chapter 1092, Mushrooms, so sad. No. I don't want you to leave. Zhang Yuxi said coquettishly. Oh, okay, my husband won't leave. Lin Feng said softly. Yes. Zhang Yuxi nodded with satisfaction. Hubby, I want a hug. Zhang Yuxi said coquettishly. Yes. Hubby, hug. But you have to let your husband take off his clothes first. Lin Feng smiled helplessly. There was no way, he had just changed his clothes and was about to go out. Looking at Zhang Yuxi like this, she couldn't go out. Since she couldn't go out, she should sleep for a while. After Lin Feng took off his clothes, he got into the bed. Zhang Yuxi lay in Lin Feng's arms, with a satisfied look on her face. Hubby, as long as I lie in your arms, I feel very safe, very at ease, and very satisfied. Zhang Yuxi whispered softly. Little fool. Lin Feng reached out and touched Zhang Yuxi's little head. Good boy, sleep a little longer, your husband will wake you up later. Lin Feng said softly. Yes. Zhang Yuxi rubbed her little face against Lin Feng's chest and said with satisfaction. Then she closed her eyes and fell asleep again soon. Lin Feng looked at the long eyelashes under Zhang Yuxi's eyes, which looked very cute. Lin Feng just looked at Zhang Yuxi sleeping quietly, enjoying the warmth at the moment. At about 7 o'clock, Lin Feng woke Zhang Yuxi up. Little lazy pig, get up. Lin Feng pinched Zhang Yuxi's little nose and said gently. Husband, what time is it now? Zhang Yuxi asked softly with her eyes half open and half closed. Little lazy pig, it's almost 7 o'clock now, get up and wash up. Have breakfast in the hotel later, and then take the bus back to school. Lin Feng smiled and said with a doting look. Yes, hubby, carry me to wash up. I want to do it like before. Zhang Yuxi sat up, opened her arms and said coquettishly. Okay. Hubby will carry you to wash up, like before. Lin Feng hugged Zhang Yuxi's waist, and Zhang Yuxi put her arms around Lin Feng's neck. Lin Feng lifted Zhang Yuxi up with force, and Zhang Yuxi stuck to Lin Feng like an octopus. Then the two went to wash up. Fortunately, Lin Feng's physical fitness was excellent. He held Zhang Yuxi with one hand and squeezed toothpaste with the other hand. The two of them didn't know how many times they had done this operation. Everything was familiar. Soon, the two finished washing up. After changing clothes, they sorted out their things and went downstairs with a room card. Arriving at the restaurant on the second floor of the hotel, the two had a simple breakfast and checked out. Lin Feng held Zhang Yuxi's hand, and the two walked to the side of the road. After casually stopping a taxi, Lin Feng reported the name of Tsinghua University, and the driver stepped on the accelerator and drove quickly to Tsinghua University. After more than 20 minutes, almost 30 minutes later, the taxi stopped at the gate of Tsinghua University. Lin Feng had sent a message early, asking Chen Dongyan to drive to the school gate to pick him up, because he had to send Zhang Yuxi back to the teaching building of the School of Finance first. If he walked, he would probably not be able to catch up and would be late. As soon as Lin Feng got out of the car, he saw Chen Dongyan's Audi A4L parked next to the gate of Tsinghua University, and Chen Dongyan was standing next to the car smoking. While smoking, he yawned. He looked like he hadn't woken up yet. It is estimated that several people in the dormitory played games until very late last night. Chen Dongyan also saw Lin Feng at this time. After taking the last puff of the cigarette, he put out the cigarette butt. Then he waved his arms to Lin Feng and Zhang Yuxi. Lin Feng held Zhang Yuxi's hand and walked in front of Chen Dongyan. "Big brother, sister-in-law, good morning," Chen Dongyan said with a smile. "Old four, good morning." "Good morning." Lin Feng and Zhang Yuxi also said with a smile. "Old four, you've worked hard." Lin Feng patted Chen Dongyan on the shoulder and said, "Oh, big brother, you're being too formal, aren't you? It's just driving a car, it's not hard at all." Chen Dongyan waved his hand and said casually, "Okay, big brother, sister-in-law, get in the car. Class is about to start, we have to hurry." After Chen Dongyan finished speaking, he opened the door and let Zhang Yuxi and Lin Feng sit in the back seat. Then he got into the driver's seat, started the car, stepped on the accelerator and drove quickly towards the teaching building of the School of Finance. A few minutes later, the teaching building of the School of Finance arrived. Lin Feng got out of the car first, then walked around to help Zhang Yuxi open the door. "Thank you, classmate Dongyan." Zhang Yuxi stood outside the car and said to Chen Dongyan with a smile, "Oh, sister-in-law, don't be polite. The boss is like my big brother, so you don't have to be polite to me." Chen Dongyan said with a smile. Then I'll go up first. There are many people on campus now. You drive slowly and pay attention to safety," Zhang Yuxi said with a smile. Then Zhang Yuxi looked at Lin Feng and said sweetly, "Husband, I'll go up first." "Okay." Lin Feng nodded, and then kissed Zhang Yuxi on the forehead. Zhang Yuxi's little face brush and two blushes appeared in an instant. "Hate. So many people." Zhang Yuxi rolled her eyes at Lin Feng and said coquettishly, "Oh, boss, sister-in-law, I didn't see anything, you continue." Chen Dongyan said with an embarrassed face. "This is. What a sin. It's so early in the morning to abuse the dog!" Exclamation mark. "Mushrooms, blue and thin!" Exclamation mark. Chen Dongyan wailed in his heart. Zhang Yuxi's face became even redder when she heard Chen Dongyan's words. She punched Lin Feng with her fist, then turned and ran away. This bad guy. There are so many people here, many people must have seen it. How embarrassing. Zhang Yuxi thought to herself as she ran. "Oh, this little fool." Lin Feng stood there and muttered to himself. "Boss, I'm hurt. What sin have I committed? I was made to see this inhumane dog and you're so early in the morning. I don't care, you have to make it up to me." Woo woo woo. Lin Feng just opened the passenger seat and heard Chen Dongyan say aggrievedly, "You guy. Don't come at me. Aren't you just greedy for the food I cooked? Next time, tell me what you want to eat, and I'll satisfy you, okay?" Lin Feng glared at Chen Dongyan and said unhappily, "Hey. Boss, you said it." Chen Dongyan said with a smile on his face. Okay, I said it. Okay, drive quickly. We're almost late." Lin Feng said helplessly. "Okay. Let's go now," Chen Dongyan said with satisfaction. Boom. Chen Dongyan stepped on the accelerator and the Audi A4 roared instantly. Squeak. The harsh sound of tires rubbing against the ground sounded. The Audi A4 rushed forward instantly. It disappeared quickly, leaving only a trace of the tires rubbing against the ground. Chapter 1093 Brainstorming. Soon, the morning passed in a flash. At noon, Lin Feng and Chen Dongyun and others went to the school cafeteria to eat. They ordered 7 or 8 kinds of stir-fry dishes, and they ate with relish. Second brother, third brother, fourth brother, I have something to tell you. Lin Feng wiped his mouth with a tissue and said, Boss, what's the matter? Chen Dongyun and others also stopped and looked at Lin Feng. It's like this, didn't I tell you before that I planned to start a business? Lin Feng said slowly. Yeah, boss, should we start now? Boss, you tell us how to do it, and we brothers will listen to you. Chen Kun and others nodded, patting their chests excitedly and said, well, it's not that exaggerated. Let's think together and brainstorm. You can also put forward good ideas, let's discuss them together and see if they are feasible. Lin Feng said slowly. I have an idea now. But I want to hear your ideas first. Lin Feng took a sip of water and continued to speak. Oh, boss, how can I know about this? How about you say whatever you say and I do whatever you say? Chen Dongyun said with an embarrassed look. No, everyone has to say what they think. Lin Feng glared at Chen Dongyun and said unhappily. Oh, Chen Dongyun didn't dare to speak again with a sad face. Well, second brother, you tell me your ideas first. Lin Feng looked up at Chen Kun and said, oh, this. Let me think about it first. Chen Kun said awkwardly. After a long pause, Chen Kun slowly said, boss, I see that many students like to go to internet cafes to surf the internet. Some go there to play games, and some go to the movies to look up information. Although many people now have their own computers, many people just like the atmosphere of internet cafes. I saw several internet cafes near the school, and their business is quite hot. Brothers, how about we open one too? Chen Kun said, looking at Lin Feng and others expectantly. Oh, second brother, how much money can you make by opening an internet cafe? Sui frowned and said, oh, it seems that you really can't make much money. That little money doesn't seem to be enough for us to squander. Chen Dongyun also nodded and said, I think the second brother's idea is good. Lin Feng thought for a while and said, boss, how much money can you make by opening an internet cafe? If you work so hard and still can't make much money, I think it's a waste of our talents. Sui said with a wry smile. Boss, you don't have to comfort me. I think the third and fourth brothers are right. Opening an internet cafe really doesn't make much money, and it doesn't fit our status. Chen Kun also said with a bitter face. Who said I was comforting you? Lin Feng glanced at Chen Kun and said lightly. Oh, boss, are you serious? Chen Kun said with a surprised face. Chen Dongyun and Sui also looked at Lin Feng with a surprised face. Yeah, I'm serious. Lin Feng took a sip of water and said slowly. Boss, running an internet cafe is really not okay, right? And it sounds a bit low. Sui said cautiously. Chen Dongyun and Chen Kun also nodded in agreement. You all think opening an internet cafe is low? Lin Feng looked at the few people and said. Yeah. Chen Dongyun and the other two nodded. Then, what if we put it another way? For example, a club. Lin Feng said slowly. Huh? It sounds like it's a lot more upscale now. Chen Dongyun nodded. Chen Kun and Sui also felt the same way. They changed their names and it instantly became different. Boss, but changing the name does sound a lot more upscale, but it still doesn't make much money. Sui thought about it and said helplessly. Yes, boss, it's still an internet cafe in essence, and it doesn't make much money. Chen Kun and Chen Dongyun said at the same time. You are right and wrong. Lin Feng said calmly. Boss, what are you doing? All three looked at Lin Feng. Let's put it this way. If you just open an internet cafe, you really can't make much money. But what if you extend this internet cafe and build it into a modern leisure and entertainment club? Lin Feng looked at the eager looks of the few people and said slowly. Boss, what do you mean? Let's build an internet cafe as a basis, extend other businesses, and then make other money. Sui thought about it and said. This third brother is indeed from Guangdong province. His business mind is awesome. Lin Feng thought to himself. That's about it. We can rent an ordinary building near the school. It doesn't need to be high-rise, just 5 or 6 floors will do. Then redecorate it according to the style of modern young people and turn it into a multifunctional and diverse leisure club. For example, the first floor will be a leisure internet cafe, the second floor will be a restaurant. After all, you need to eat and drink when you are tired of surfing the internet. The third floor will be a billiard and chess leisure and entertainment, the fourth floor will be a KTV, The 5th floor will be a conference room, the 6th floor, and so on. Anyway, the specific regional functional division, this can be discussed in detail. And because we are mainly targeting young people, this novel and comprehensive club has all the popular elements on the market now, and it can meet the needs of different groups of people. So, do you think this club can make less money? Lin Feng said slowly. This. Boss, awesome. Chen Dongyun muttered to himself. Boss, I finally know where the gap between you and me is. I just casually said that I would open an internet cafe, and you were able to develop it into an industrial chain. This. I am convinced. Boss, I am really convinced. Chen Kun also said with a look of shock. Boss, this idea is indeed possible. I dare to conclude that it will definitely succeed based on the current market conditions. Boss, awesome. Suhi also said with admiration. His boss's business acumen is really not to be underestimated. Hey. Okay, stop flattering me first. This matter is just a talk. We still need to study it carefully, go out to investigate and collect information, and make a plan. There are many things to do in the later stage. Whether it can be done or not, we will have to wait until it opens and operates for a period of time to know. So, you don't have to be too excited first. Lin Feng said with a smile. Chapter 1094, can it still be done this way? Yes. Boss, you are right. Chen Dongyun and the others nodded and said with admiration. Alright, alright. Look at you guys, you are so useless. I really lost to you. This is just another way, let's use it as a backup plan first. Next, third brother, tell me what you think. Lin Feng looked at Suhi and said. Well, boss, brothers, I do have some ideas. Then I will tell you my ideas, brothers, I will show you my ugliness. Suhi looked at Lin Feng and the others, cleared his throat, and officially began to talk about his ideas. Ahem. Well, because I am a little lazy, I have to go to the cafeteria every time I eat. In fact, I have always had an idea, that is, I want to sit in the dormitory and wait for others to bring me food. Suhi said awkwardly. Lin Feng. Chen Kun. Chen Dongyun. Damn it. I didn't expect Suhi to be so lazy. Well, third brother, your idea is wrong. This is too lazy. Chen Kun rolled his eyes at Suhi and said speechlessly. Chen Dongyun nodded involuntarily. This third brother, this idea is very dangerous. It's really too lazy. Oh, well, I'm just too lazy to move. So I thought, if someone could deliver food to my door, how great it would be. Suhi said awkwardly. Third brother, many restaurants now provide delivery services, but you have to order a lot before they are willing to deliver. Chen Dongyun thought for a while and said. Yes. Now there are many restaurants that provide delivery services, but you have to order so much, and you have to order in groups. How can I eat so much by myself? And you have to call to place an order, and sometimes you make mistakes because you can't hear clearly. Too troublesome. So, I think, can we set up a company that specializes in delivering food for others? Recruit some idle people, and the salary doesn't need to be too high. I think many people should want to do it. Suhi said slowly. When Lin Feng heard this, he was shocked. Isn't this the way MT takeaway works? The initiator of the takeaway industry in the future, who promoted the rise of a new industry, could it be because he had the same idea as Suhi? However, that person's surname is Wang, and Suhi's surname is Su. There should be no relationship between the two, right? Just a coincidence? Lin Feng thought to himself. Oh, old third, you don't seem to make much money, right? It can only simply satisfy your lazy needs. No one else seems to have such an idea. Chen Kun thought for a while and spoke his mind. Yes, third brother, your idea doesn't seem to make much money. Most people will choose to eat out. There are probably only a few people who think the same as you. Chen Dongyun thought about it and felt that it was not feasible. Oh, it's true that you may not make much money. I just said that casually. If it doesn't work, forget it. Suhi said with an embarrassed look. Third brother, I think your idea is good. At this time, Lin Feng slowly said. Oh, boss, it's not bad again. Are you really comforting me this time? Suhi said with a bitter face. Chen Dongyun and Chen Kun also have such an idea. The boss is not afraid that Suhi will be hit, so he comforts him. So he said that? No, what are you thinking? I think your idea is really good. Lin Feng rolled his eyes at Suhi and said unhappily. Chen Dongyun and others don't have experience in the future, but Lin Feng does. After experiencing the development of the food delivery platform in the future, it has achieved great success in just a few years and has a market value of hundreds of billions. So, this is definitely a super profitable industry. Suhi's idea is really good. Boss, where's the money in this? I thought about it, but I can't think of it. Chen Kun said with a confused look. Chen Dongyun and Suhi also had doubts on their faces. Lin Feng looked at the three people and saw that they were confused, so he smiled. Okay, let me analyze it with you. The reason why you think it's not profitable is that there are not many restaurants that provide delivery services now, and even if there are restaurants that provide delivery services, they require group orders, and they need a certain amount of food before they can arrange their own restaurant staff to deliver food. Also, the ordering method is too troublesome, and the wrong food is often delivered. The above situations are the main reasons why many people don't want to order food. Of course, there are other reasons, so I won't go into details first. In that case, have you ever thought about it? If these troubles are solved, such as canceling the restriction that delivery service is provided only for large orders, then will there be more people who want to order food? For example, they don't need to send someone to deliver food in their special hall. We provide delivery service for them, and they only need to pay us a small fee. Then will the restaurant agree to cancel the requirement for large orders to deliver food? At this point, Lin Feng paused and let them think and digest it. Several people were shocked by Lin Feng's words. Can it be operated like this? It seems to be feasible. Chen Dongyun, Chen Kun and Suhi looked at each other. All of them were shocked. After a moment of silence. Boss, I have another question. Even if it's as you said, we solved it, but it's still inconvenient to order food. And this way, we can only deliver food within a small area, right? If it's far, it's too troublesome, and it doesn't seem worth it. Chen Dongyun thought about it and said, yeah, this doesn't seem to be feasible. Chen Kun nodded and said. Suhi also looked at Lin Feng with a puzzled look. It was true. He still couldn't make much money by doing this. Hey, isn't this simple? Have you forgotten what major we studied? Lin Feng smiled and said. Boss, we studied computer science. But what does this have to do with these? Suhi said with a puzzled look. Hey, it's a big deal. We're studying computer science, so you should all know about computer software, right? For example, we can find someone to develop a software, and then promote it to collect information about various businesses and their ordering phone numbers, etc., and then let people order food on it, and will be responsible for delivering the food. Isn't that the job? Lin Feng said. Chapter 1095, If you have to fart, fart now. Oh, it can actually be operated this way. Why didn't we think of it? Sure. In this way, we don't have to worry about the trouble of ordering food. Boss, you can think of this. Awesome. Chen Dongyun and others said in succession. Haha, don't get excited yet. Actually, this is not the best way. If you use a computer, it's not very convenient to operate it. Take out your mobile phones and have a look. Nowadays, almost everyone has a mobile phone, right? And it's very convenient to surf the internet and read the news on your mobile phone. It can almost be said that you can't leave your phone without it, right? Lin Feng looked at the few people and spoke slowly. Chen Dongyun and others took their mobile phones and looked at them. They were a little confused. Why did Lin Feng suddenly say this? Boss, it's true. We all secretly play with our mobile phones in class. Almost everyone can't leave their mobile phones. But what does this have to do with food delivery? Suhi said with a puzzled look on his face. He also asked the doubts of Chen Kun and Chen Dongyun. Hey, are you talking about this relationship? What do you think? If we move the food ordering software on the computer to the mobile phone, won't the effect be even better? Just open your phone, open the software, and you can use the food delivery platform. Oh, that's the name I gave this software. Choose a merchant in this food delivery software, find your favorite restaurant and place an order. Then the merchants will take the order at the same time, and we will provide delivery services. So what do you think will happen? Moreover, this software can be promoted nationwide. By then, everyone will use this software to order food, and we will cooperate with these merchants, and all the delivery services will be provided by our people. Do you still think it will not make money? Going a step further, we can provide not only food delivery services, but also delivery services for other things. Don't you think this will not make money? When we are developed and have money, We can set up our own group company to form a complete industrial chain. Do you still think this is not feasible? Lin Feng looked at Chen Dongyan and the others and spoke slowly. Hiss. Chen Dongyan, Chen Kun and Suhi were so surprised that they couldn't speak at this time. Just listening to what Lin Feng said, they felt that they could make a lot of money. Moreover, the development prospects of this plan are extremely grand. If it is really done, it will definitely become the overlord of the emerging industry. This is too awesome. Really, too awesome. Chen Dongyan and the other two looked at Lin Feng as if they were looking at a god. This boss's mind is really terrible. Just throwing out such an idea casually, he can extend it into a huge industry chain. It's simply unparalleled. Just for Lin Feng's current idea, as long as it is made into a plan, I'm afraid countless people will squeeze their heads to participate. Even if I don't do it myself, just selling this idea can probably make millions. It's really awesome. Is this still a human mind? Exclamation mark. It's simply inhuman. Boss. I don't know what to say now. I suddenly feel that we have accumulated so much good fortune in our previous life to know you and recognize you as our boss. Your idea is absolutely feasible. As long as we operate it a little, we will definitely make a lot of money. You also told us this trust without reservation. Boss, I am completely convinced. Generous. Suhi looked at Lin Feng and said sincerely. Chen Dongyan and Chen Kun also looked at Lin Feng with complicated expressions. Boss, I am really convinced. Really, I am really lucky to be your brother. I will never let go of your thigh in this life. Chen Kun said sincerely. Chen Dongyan nodded, thinking the same thing. Oh, get out, don't look at me with that look. This is fucking, it makes me feel uncomfortable all over, and I have goosebumps. Lin Feng glared at Chen Dongyan and the other two, cursing. Oh, boss, don't abandon me. Woo woo woo. The three of them said in unison. Lin Feng. Okay, this is just a rough idea. Just like the previous one, we still need to conduct an investigation and make a plan. We have to try to know whether it can work. So, don't get excited. Lin Feng said unhappily. Boss, I think it will definitely work. This is so exciting just to hear it. Chen Dongyan said with a flattering smile. Chen Kun and Suhi also nodded. They also thought it would definitely work. Yeah, this is the same as the previous one. It's a backup. Now, Lao Si, tell me what you think. Lin Feng said casually. Oh, boss, I think the first two plans are very good and will definitely make a lot of money. Boss, I don't need to say it, right? Chen Dongyan said weakly. Stop talking nonsense, just say what I told you to say. Lin Feng glared at Chen Dongyan and cursed angrily. Okay, Lao Si, we brothers have said it, just tell us what you think. Anyway, the boss is here, even if he is dead, the boss can make him alive for you. Chen Kun said calmly. Oh, okay then. Let me think about it. Chen Dongyan said helplessly. After thinking for a few minutes, Chen Dongyan seemed to have an idea. He looked at Lin Feng and the others with a serious face. Boss, and brothers, I suddenly thought of an idea. Chen Dongyan looked at Lin Feng and the others with a mysterious face and said. Everyone. Lao Si, if you have something to say it quickly, and if you have something to say it quickly. You are still keeping us in suspense. Chen Kun glared at Chen Dongyan angrily and said. Oh, don't be in a hurry, I will tell you now. Chen Dongyan saw that the brothers were unhappy, and spoke quickly. Boss, brothers, it's like this, isn't online shopping becoming popular now? I see a lot of people in school buying things online. But, the delivery time of the courier is uncertain, and it often happens that the couriers are missing or damaged. Well, yesterday a brother from the next class really complained to me that the model he bought for thousands of dollars was lost, and now it hasn't been dealt with yet. He doesn't even want to shop online anymore. From these things, we can see that online shopping is an inevitable development trend in the future. Then, I wonder, can we set up an online shopping platform? Or open a courier company? Chen Dongyan said slowly. Chapter 1096. I feel like my brain is not enough. Old 4, there seem to be quite a few online shopping platforms in China now, right? That Ali in Zhejiang province and that Dangang in Beijing, as well as some unknown small website platforms, are actually quite popular at the moment. I just bought a few books there a few days ago. It's really useful. However, there seems to be a large foreign financial group behind Dangang.com. If we rashly create a platform like this, we probably won't make any money. Those small platforms simply don't have traffic and can't beat those old-fashioned platforms. So he spoke slowly. Chen Dongyin and Chen Kun thought about it and realized that this was indeed not feasible. Not to mention making money, it's unknown when the initial investment can be recovered. The internet industry is a money-burning industry. Lin Feng thought about it and thought that it was not impossible to create a shopping platform now. After all, Ali in Zhejiang province has not really grown into the giant it will be in the future. Now, if we create an online shopping platform, relying on Lin Feng's experience in his previous life, we can at least not beat Ali in Zhejiang province, let alone beat Ali in Zhejiang province. So this is also feasible. So he looked at Chen Dongyin and the others and slowly said, I think the fourth brother's idea is still feasible. Chen Dongyin. Chen Kun. Suhi. Well, boss, I just want to ask, is it really feasible? Chen Dongyin asked weakly. Chen Kun and Suhi also looked at Lin Feng with curiosity. They wanted Lin Feng to say that he was joking and teasing them. This is too scary. The two previous plans have not yet been digested by the few people. Their boss has come up with a new plan. The three of them didn't know what to say. Yet, I think the fourth brother's idea is feasible. Although there are already many online shopping platforms on the market, now is a period of rapid development of the internet, and it's not too late to get on board now. If you want to do it, it's not impossible. Not to say that you can surpass the top, but at least try to be on par with the top. It's not impossible and there is a chance. Lin Feng said slowly. Oh, Chen Dongyin and the other two. The three of them really didn't know what to say at this time. Their boss really couldn't be measured by ordinary people's eyes and perspectives. He was too powerful. If their boss really focused on entering the business, I'm afraid that one day everyone would tremble for him. It's too scary. He's simply not a human. Then, the express delivery problem that the fourth brother just mentioned coincides with my idea that I wanted to tell you before. Originally, I wanted to say that we should cooperate with Haida Logistics Company, take over their agency, and then apply to the school for a site to set up an express delivery station. Doesn't the school have a college student entrepreneurship service center? Let's just apply for a site. Well, I originally wanted to do this just to let you try your hand, and by the way, provide some part-time jobs for some students from poor families in the school, delivering express, dividing express and so on. However, after listening to the fourth brother's idea, I think if everyone wants to do it bigger, it's not impossible. Let's create our own online shopping platform, and then set up our own logistics team. Logistics distribution can be piloted in Beijing first, and other places in the country can first cooperate with the existing express delivery companies. When our own logistics company develops, we will slowly take back our platform's own business. If we do this, the initial investment may be larger, but if it works, the dengdeng.com that the third brother just mentioned will be no problem. I am very confident about this. Of course, any business has risks, and there is a possibility of failure. But even if it fails, it won't be a big loss. I still have this confidence. Lin Feng talked. When Lin Feng finished speaking, Chen Dongyin and the others all opened their mouths slightly, shocked and speechless. Mom, this is really scary. No matter what idea comes out, Lin Feng can make it into a business that is almost certain to make money for them. This is too cruel! Exclamation mark. In this short hour, several people were shocked and numb in their hearts. Shocked again and again, several people no longer know how to describe that feeling. It's so uncomfortable. Boss, let me calm down. This moment, I feel like my brain is not enough. Boss, you are really too much? Chen Dongyin said with a bitter face. Chen Kun and Suhi also had bitter faces. This is really incomparable. Boss, I originally thought that I was quite good compared to others. But, today. Just now. Boss, I just realized that I am nothing compared to you. It's so hard for me. Chen Kun felt extremely bitter and said as if he was hit. Really, Chen Kun always thought that he was awesome. He was a second-generation rich kid, but he was not like ordinary second-generation rich kids who had friends and partying every day. He got into Tsinghua and Peking University through his own efforts, which was something he was very proud of. But since he met Raymond Lam, he began to be hit again and again. Until today, he finally understood that there really are geniuses in this world. He was hit to pieces. He was not jealous of Raymond Lam, but he felt that he originally thought he was the protagonist of this world, But someone told him that no, he was not, he was just a small supporting role. Yes, that's right, that's the feeling. Chen Kun had a look of despair on his face, which was beyond words. Not only him, but Sui was also like this. As a man from Guangdong province, who has always been known for his courage to start a business, he was really hip today. Damn, any random idea can be turned into a complete business chain by Lin Feng. This really can't be described as a genius. Diula Ilo Mu. This is simply not a human being. Chen Dongyun is better. He comes from a military family for generations and doesn't have so many ideas. But he also thinks that his boss Lin Feng is really awesome. It's really a blessing to be a brother with such a person. Lin Feng looked at Chen Dongyun, Chen Kun and Sui in front of him, looking at him with different expressions. He was a little confused. What are these guys doing? Hey, don't look at me like that all the time. This is fucking, I'm a serious person. If you want to fencing, you three can play by yourselves. Lin Feng couldn't help but shudder and said helplessly. Chapter 1097. Hold Lin Feng's thighs. Chen Kun. Sui. Chen Dongyun. Oh, fencing. Fencing. They reacted instantly. What the hell? Boss. I'm a serious person, okay. I'm still traumatized by the chicken neck incident last time. For fencing, just let the second and third brothers do it, I'll skip it. Chen Dongyun said with a look of grievance. Chen Kun. Sui. Chen Kun and Sui were speechless again. What the hell, this gay thing is not going to pass. Shut up. Fourth brother, do you believe I'll cut you? Don't ruin my reputation. The one who ate the chicken neck is the third brother. I feel sick when I see the chicken neck now. Don't drag me into the fencing thing. I have a girlfriend. Chen Kun said excitedly. What the hell, it's not just Chen Dongyun who has a trauma. He has a trauma too now. Ever since Lin Feng talked about the chicken neck incident last time, he never wants to eat chicken neck again. Sui. What the hell, I'm gay in the end. Exclamation mark. Hey, guys. I'm a decent person too. Chicken neck, it's the neck of a chicken. I beg you, stop talking, okay? If you keep talking, I won't dare to eat chicken neck. Sui said with a bitter face and some helplessness. Oh, I didn't say anything. You don't have to explain. Just find a girlfriend and prove yourself. Don't get excited. Lin Feng touched his nose and said seriously. Well, I've proved my innocence. I have a girlfriend. Old 3, old 4, you guys are doing this. Chen Kun said with a smug look on his face. Then, a few of them were talking and laughing. They started to play around. The gloomy mood just now was swept away. Chen Kun, Sui and Chen Dongyun all figured it out. Some people are born this way, and there is no comparison. Anyway, Lin Feng is the boss of them. Just hold on to Lin Feng's thighs no matter what. Anyway, no matter what good things happen, Lin Feng will not forget them. In life, it is enough to have a few brothers like this. It is enough. What is there to be sad about? Anyway, Lin Feng is preparing to start a business now, and he will take them with him. Don't think too much, just follow Lin Feng closely and follow his footsteps. Isn't it better this way? Exclamation mark. Boss. Chen Kun suddenly said. Second brother, what's wrong? Lin Feng said with a puzzled look. Chen Dongyun and Sui also looked at Chen Kun with puzzled faces, wondering what he suddenly wanted to say. Boss, I have a weak question. Seeing that Lin Feng and the other two were looking at him, Chen Kun said weakly. Well, you say. Lin Feng said casually. Boss, are you really a human? Chen Kun spoke slowly. Lin Feng. Sui. Chen Dongyun. Lin Feng, Chen Dongyun and Sui were all speechless after hearing what Chen Kun said. Second brother, what do you mean? Before Lin Feng could speak, Sui shouted angrily. Oh, that's not what I meant. What I meant was that the boss's brain is simply inhuman. Too awesome. Chen Kun hurriedly explained. Oh, second brother, what you said made me a little suspicious. Boss, are you really a human? Sui turned his head and looked at Lin Feng and muttered to himself. Even Chen Dongyun, who was standing next to him, couldn't help but nodded in agreement. Lin Feng, get out. You guys, I think you're just itching for a fight. If you keep talking nonsense, I will make you lie in bed like that yellow-haired dragon brother for the rest of your life. Lin Feng glared at a few people and cursed with a smile. Oh, misunderstanding, it's all misunderstanding, it's what they said, It's none of my business. Boss, if you want to beat them, beat them. Chen Dongyun said flatteringly. Oh, fourth brother, I think you really want to be beaten. You beat us first. We'll beat you first. After Chen Kun finished speaking, he and Sui grabbed Chen Dongyun and started to play with him. Oh. Boss, save me. Second brother, third brother, I was wrong. Chen Dongyun cried for help and admitted his mistakes. Lin Feng looked at the three people playing, couldn't help but smile, and shook his head. In life, if you have a few brothers like this who always accompany you, it's also a regret. Okay, stop making trouble. It's getting late, go back to the dormitory first, there are classes in the afternoon. Lin Feng shook his head and said helplessly. These three guys, how old are they? They are still fighting in public like children. There's really nothing you can do about them. Then they drove back to the dormitory. Think about which project you should do in the next few days. By the way, if you want to build a club, Lao Si, you are a local in Beijing and you are familiar with this area. You can see if there are any 5 or 6-story buildings for rent nearby. If the owner plans to sell, you can buy it directly. Even if we don't build a club, we won't lose money. The housing prices in Beijing will still rise. Well, if you have some spare money, you can also buy a few houses. It will be a good income at that time. Lin Feng sat on the chair and said to Chen Dongyun and others. Boss, have you heard any rumors? Chen Kun said with a sly look on his face. Oh, no, it's purely personal judgment. As for what will happen in the future, I can't guarantee it. It depends on your own ideas. Lin Feng was stunned for a moment and said casually. As for whether to buy it or not, it depends on them. I can't tell them that I have been reborn and the housing prices in Beijing will definitely rise, right? Boss, I got it. I'll ask someone to ask about the situation nearby in the next few days. Chen Dongyun nodded and agreed to this matter. After that, the few of them casually pulled eggs, and then went back to their beds for lunch. The whole afternoon was spent in class. After finally getting through the get out of class, Lin Feng packed up his things and carried his bag, and immediately walked out of the classroom. He was going to pick up Zhang Yuxi, and then go to the family compound together. Lin Feng's parents, Lin Dashan and Zhou Qilin, are already in the family compound. Today is the day to give acupuncture to Lin Feng's grandfather Zhou Saiqiang again. Today, Zhou Zhangguo even called specially to inform Lin Feng to go there early after school, give acupuncture treatment to the old man, and have dinner together. So as soon as the get out of class was over, Lin Feng said hello to several brothers in the dormitory, and then hurriedly packed up and left. Lin Feng drove to the teaching building of the School of Finance, picked up Zhang Yuxi, and the two went straight to the family compound. Chapter 1098 The Day of Acupuncture. About half an hour later, Lin Feng's black Mercedes-Benz G500 slowly stopped outside the small courtyard where Zhou Zhangguo and the others were. After Lin Feng got out of the car, he walked around to help Zhang Yuxi open the door and helped her down. Then the two walked into the small courtyard hand in hand. At this time, Lin Dashan and Zhou Qilin were accompanying Lin Feng's grandpa and grandma to enjoy the cool in the yard and chat. Several people saw Lin Feng and Zhang Yuxi walking in hand. Zhou Saiqiang smiled kindly when he saw Lin Feng. Lin Feng, Yuxi, you are here. Good boy, come to grandpa. Zhou Saiqiang said with a loving smile. Grandpa, grandma, hello. Mom and dad, you are here too. Lin Feng smiled and greeted. Zhang Yuxi also greeted them sweetly. Then the two sat next to Zhou Saiqiang and He Mei. Good kids, grandpa hasn't seen you two for a few days. Have you been in class these days? Zhou Saiqiang asked with a smile. Yes, grandpa, Yuxi and I have been in school these days. Lin Feng replied. At this time, Zhou Zhangguo also returned home and walked in from outside. Hello, uncle. Lin Feng and Zhang Yuxi greeted him together. Yes. Zhou Zhangguo still had a serious face and nodded. Dad, mom, little sister, brother-in-law, you are all here. Zhou Zhangguo greeted several people. By the way, where are the third brother, are they back? Zhou Zhangguo asked. Zhangguo, the third brother said he is in a business meeting and will be here later. As for your second brother, he has something to do and can't leave, so he won't be back. He Mei looked at Zhou Zhangguo and said. Yes. Mom, did you take the medicine on time today? Zhou Zhangguo asked his mother He Mei. I'm taking it, don't worry. He Mei smiled and said. Lin Feng, before they arrive, you can give your grandpa acupuncture treatment first. When they arrive, we can have dinner together. Zhang said to Lin Feng. Yeah, that's fine. Then I'll give Grandpa acupuncture first. By the way, prepare the alcohol lamp and other things for me just like last time. Lin Feng nodded and said. Okay, I'll have someone prepare it right away. Zhang said, then walked into the living room and started to make arrangements. After Zhang made the arrangements, Lin Feng supported Zhang and they walked into the room together. Then only Zhang, Lin Feng and Zhang were left in the room. Zhang stayed behind to help out and to notify the outside world in time if anything unexpected happened. By the way, Uncle, have someone bring in a pot of red hot charcoal right now. Lin Feng suddenly remembered something, so he said to Zhang. Okay, I'll go make arrangements now. After saying that, he immediately went out to make arrangements. Grandpa, relax. It's almost the same as last time. There's no problem. Lin Feng said softly to Zhang on the bed. Yeah, silly boy, Grandpa is fine. Just do whatever you want. Zhang said while lying on the bed. The two chatted casually for a few words, and soon Zhang came in with a pot of burning charcoal. Lin Feng, the charcoal is here. Do you need anything else? Zhang asked after putting down the charcoal. No, that's it. By the way, Uncle, wait a minute. Don't make any noise when I don't call you. Lin Feng thought for a moment and said. Okay. Zhang nodded. Then Lin Feng patted the silver needle box. With a click, the silver needle box seemed to open automatically. Zhang looked a little surprised, but didn't say anything. Grandpa, turn over and lie on your back. Lin Feng said to Zhang. Okay. Zhang turned around and turned his back to the sky. Lin Feng gently pinched a silver needle between his thumb and middle finger, and roasted it under the burning alcohol lamp. Then, swishing, Zhang didn't see Lin Feng's movements clearly at all, and the silver needle appeared on Zhang's back. And all the silver needles were shaking constantly at this time. This scene made Zhang feel extremely magical. But he still held back and didn't speak. After Lin Feng's amazing and dazzling movements, Zhang's back was full of silver needles. At this time, Lin Feng's face and forehead were full of sweat. The clothes on his body were also wet with sweat. Seeing this, Zhang hurriedly picked up a hot towel and went forward to wipe Lin Feng's sweat. Uncle, put on this mask later. Then listen to my instructions, and then bring the burning charcoal basin to the bed. Lin Feng picked up the last slender silver needle in the silver needle box and said to Zhang. Okay. Zhang took the mask and put it on, and also helped Lin Feng put on the mask. Grandpa, this is the last shot. It may hurt a lot later. Just bear with it. If you want to vomit, lie down on the bed. Lin Feng said to Zhang, who was blushing on the bed. Okay. Grandpa knows. Do it. Zhang slowly squeezed out these words from his mouth. Swish. Pa. Ah. 3 sounds rang out at the same time. The first sound was the sound of Lin Feng inserting the silver needle into the last acupuncture point of Zhang's Du channel. The second sound was the sound made when Zhang's Ren and Du channels were completely connected. The third sound was Zhang's scream of pain. Uncle, charcoal basin. Lin Feng said loudly. Zhang reacted immediately. He immediately brought the charcoal basin over. Ugh! After Zhang cried out in pain, he twisted his body and lay down on the bed and vomited. A mouthful of black and red, somewhat sticky blood accurately fell into the burning charcoal basin. Zzzz. 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 A sizzling sound was heard, and a puff of green smoke came out from above the charcoal basin. Uncle, put on your mask and get close to the door. Lin Feng said loudly. Zhang immediately retreated and came to the door. Soon Zhang had discharged all the blood stasis and toxins. He lay back on the bed, his face flushed but with a relaxed look. Ugh! Zzzz. Another burst of green smoke came out. About 2 minutes later, Zhang had completely vomited out the blood stasis and toxins. Seeing that Zhang had stopped vomiting blood, Lin Feng said to Zhang weakly, Okay, Uncle, go and help Grandpa wipe his body with a hot towel, then put on your clothes, relax for a few minutes, let Grandpa adapt, and then we'll go out. Then Lin Feng sat on a chair beside him, breathing heavily. If you're listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means they downloaded and uploaded it without effort. We cordially invite you to visit our channel, Mundo Fanfic Novelist. There you'll find the original version of this story, and you can explore many other novels of various genres. We're waiting for you to immerse yourself in a world of incredible novels. Chapter 1099, Not for Sale. Okay. Zhang Yuxi replied. After that, he immediately went forward to pick up the towel in the hot water basin, wrung it out, and helped Zhang Yuxi wipe it. Soon, Zhang Yuxi cleaned up and put on his clothes. At this time, Zhang Yuxi's face was still a little flushed, but this kind of red, with a hint of health. My dear grandson, you have worked hard. Zhang Yuxi walked to Lin Feng with a distressed look on his face, and held Lin Feng's hand tightly. Grandpa, I'm fine, I'm just a little weak, I'll be fine after a while. Lin Feng gently pulled down the mask and spoke slowly. Then you sit down quickly and take a rest. Zhang Yuxi said hurriedly. Yes, Grandpa, you sit down too. Let's sit for a few minutes and rest for a while. Wait until the sweat on your body is completely dry before going out. Otherwise your pores will be slightly open at this time, and it will be easy for external evil to invade and infect you with cold wind once you go out. Lin Feng said softly. Okay, Grandpa listens to you. Zhang Yuxi said kindly. Then the two sat down on the chairs in the room. Only Zhang Yuxi was left to clean up the charcoal brazier. There was no other way, as he was the only one in the room at this time. In order to lower the temperature in the room, Zhang Yuxi had to put out the charcoal fire with the water. About 10 minutes later, Lin Feng also recovered. He was exhausted just now. The high-intensity acupuncture was almost unbearable for his physique. Lin Feng looked at Zhang Yuxi and then at the time. Zhang Yuxi's complexion had returned to normal at this time. He looked energetic and his gray hair seemed to have darkened a little. At this time, Zhang Yuxi had finished cleaning up and walked over. Uncle, sit down for a while. Lin Feng said. Zhang Yuxi nodded and sat down casually. Lin Feng, how is your grandfather now? Zhang Yuxi picked up the teacup on the table, drank a sip of water, and said. Well, I just checked Grandpa's pulse. The pulse is now stable and the heart is beating strongly. This is a sign that the Ren and Du meridians are completely unblocked after these two acupuncture treatments. Based on the current situation, I will give you acupuncture once a month to consolidate the meridians. After about half a year, it will basically return to normal. Lin Feng explained slowly. My dear grandson, how long can Grandpa live like this? Zhang Yuxi spoke directly. Because he was confused by what Lin Feng said and didn't understand it at all. Zhang Yuxi also looked at Lin Feng with a questioning look on his face. Oh, Grandpa, based on your current physical condition, if you take good care of yourself in the future, I will come to give you acupuncture every month to consolidate it. It's no problem to live another 10 or 8 years. If you recover well, it's possible to live 20 years. Lin Feng was stunned for a moment and said with a smile. Oh, by the way, I have applied for the pharmaceutical qualification. After a while, I will make a medicine based on the ancient recipe. When the time comes, Grandpa will be able to stabilize his body completely after taking it. Lin Feng thought for a while and said. Lin Feng thought that they would know about this sooner or later, so it would be better to tell it directly and generously. Anyway, they don't know the real effect of this medicine. The normal version of the longevity potion will naturally not be sold to the public. Only the deleted version of the longevity potion will be sold. After all, if this thing is really leaked, the whole world will probably go crazy. And it's not easy for Lin Feng to explain it, so, sorry, just treat it as selfish. Anyway, in order to avoid unnecessary trouble, Lin Feng can announce the deleted version to the public, which is already a righteous act. After all, apart from his relatives, to put it bluntly, what does other people have to do with him? If Lin Feng is angry, even the deleted version will not be released. Lin Feng thought to himself. Lin Feng, is the medicine you mentioned reliable? Zhang Yuxi asked. There is basically no problem with this ancient Chinese medicine prescription. If there is a problem, do you think there is a problem with your grandpa? And it is not easy to make this medicine. In the early stage, I will only try my best to find the required medicinal materials and then make a few copies myself. It is estimated that it is only enough for our family to take, so don't think about external promotion. Lin Feng said slowly. He also knew Zhang Yuxi's thoughts, so he gave Lin Feng a shot of prevention first. Oh, by the way, this medicine can only be taken once in a lifetime for each person to be effective, and it will not work if you take it more than once. As for the specific efficacy, It depends on the individual's physique. It is hard to say. Anyway, I will make it out and then tell you. After it is made, I will test it and let you take it after it is okay, so don't worry. Lin Feng paused and continued to speak. Okay, okay, okay. Good boy, then Grandpa will wait for your good news. Zhou Zhangguo said with a smile. Zhou Zhangguo looked at Lin Feng deeply, his eyes meaningful. He heard the meaning of Lin Feng's words, and gave him a shot in advance. That is, there is no need to use this medicine, it really can't be popularized. This kid is good. He has to tell me the bottom before it even starts. There is no room for negotiation. Zhou Zhangguo thought speechlessly with exhaustion. What does this guy think of himself? Exclamation mark. Could it be that he would force him to hand over this ancient prescription? Although it is good for him to sit in that position. But first of all, he is also a member of the Zhou family. Yes, he really wants to take it out for the country to study. But if Lin Feng doesn't want to, he can't force Lin Feng. This stinky boy. He's really a little devil. I don't know what's in his head. And he is so vigilant. He doesn't even believe his uncle. Lin Feng didn't care what Zhou Zhangguo was thinking at this time. Since he dared to say it, he dared to guarantee that no one could get this medicine without his consent. If Zhou Zhangguo insisted on asking him to hand it over, then Lin Feng would be very disappointed. You want it, right? Lin Feng has plenty of ways to come up with a fake prescription, and he can also ensure that it is not obvious that it is a fake prescription. Even the medicine may does have a certain effect of prolonging life. Anyway, Lin Feng has a lot of theoretical knowledge of traditional Chinese medicine in his mind. These are not difficult for him. Lin Feng looked at the time and felt that the time was almost up. Okay, Grandpa, let's go out. I guess they are waiting outside anxiously. Lin Feng said with a smile. Okay, let's go out. Zhou Sanqiang said with a smile. Then Lin Feng and Zhou Zhangguo, each holding Zhou Sanqiang on one side, walked out of the room. Chapter 1100 Linghei Shenzhen. Just as the three of them pushed open the door and walked out, the living room was already full of people. Lin Feng's cousins and aunts all came back. Although they had the experience last time, everyone still couldn't help but get nervous. After all, the old man Zhou Sanqiang is the pillar of the Zhou family. If something really happened, it would definitely be a heavy blow to the Zhou family. Squeak. The door of the room was opened. The people in the living room all looked towards the door of the room involuntarily. Everyone saw Lin Feng and Zhou Zhangguo, one on each side, helping the old man Zhou Sanqiang out. Everyone hurried to greet him. Dad, how do you feel now? Zhou Qilin asked anxiously. It's not that she doesn't believe her son Lin Feng, but she is worried about Zhou Sanqiang. After all, her old father is old. If something really happens, her son Lin Feng can't escape the blame. Hey. I feel very good now. What can happen? Thanks to my good grandson. It can let me live a few more years. My biggest wish now is to hold my great-grandson soon, so Lin Feng, you little guys, work hard. Hey. Zhou Sanqiang was in a very happy mood and said with a smile. Huh? Now everyone's worries were finally put down completely. Okay, are all here? If everyone is here, let's eat. Zhou Sanqiang said with a smile, and his face couldn't hide the happiness. Only my third brother is missing. He should be here soon. Let's take a seat first. Sister-in-law Su Qingqing responded with a smile. Okay, let's go to the restaurant first. Zhou Sanqiang waved his hand and said with a smile. Then, surrounded by the crowd, everyone walked to the restaurant. Soon everyone sat down. This time Zhou Sanqiang still asked Lin Feng and Zhang Yuxi to sit next to him. The smile on his face never stopped. Soon, not long after everyone sat down, Zhou Zhanhe also came back. Haha, everyone is here. I'm the only one missing. Sorry, the meeting is a little late. Zhou Zhanhe said embarrassedly. Okay, third brother, please sit down. Everyone, let's eat. Zhou Sanqiang was in a particularly good mood. After looking at Zhou Zhanhe, he said casually. During the meal, everyone talked and laughed, and it was extremely harmonious. This family did not have the intrigues like those big families, but only the strong family affection. After dinner, everyone returned to the living room and sat on the sofa to eat fruit after dinner. Chatting casually. Lin Feng, how is your pharmaceutical company going? Zhou Zhangguo asked casually after eating an apple. Oh, it hasn't started yet. I've been busy these 2 days and don't have time to find the company address. Lin Feng was stunned for a moment and said awkwardly. That's perfect. I have an empty floor over at Xinhu. You can use it as your company address. Also, I found someone to help you. I'll ask them to contact you later. You can tell them your ideas and requirements, and you can discuss the details yourself. When the time comes, just leave the factory site selection to them. There's no reason for you, the big boss, to go out and find it yourself. Zhou Zhanhe said casually. Oh, this. Originally I was thinking of handling these myself. In the end, it was you, third uncle, who helped me with it. This is really. Lin Feng was a little embarrassed and said helplessly. Oh, these are just trivial matters. Why are we being polite as a family? If you ask me, it would be true if you could come and help me and take over my stall. Zhou Zhanhe waved his hand and said. Don't. Third uncle, forget it. Let me mess around for a while first. Lin Feng smiled bitterly. This third uncle always wants to trick me. It's not that easy to run such a big stall. It's too tiring. Forget it. Okay, you can have fun by yourself first. Sooner or later, this stall will fall on your head anyway. Zhou Zhanhe said unreasonably. Lin Feng felt bitter. He really didn't want to take over. A whole family was waiting for him to support, which was too difficult and troublesome. Lin Feng still wanted to be free and didn't want too many constraints. Lin Feng, you are still young anyway, don't worry. Whenever you think clearly, whether to enter the official career, do business or do other things, Grandpa will support you. Zhou Saiqiang took Lin Feng's hand and said with a loving face. Yes, Grandpa, I know. Lin Feng nodded and said seriously. Then everyone continued to chat casually. It was about 10:30 in the evening, and Zhou Saiqiang and he Mei went back to the room to sleep first. After all, the elderly, when they are old, they get sleepy at a certain time. What's more, Zhou Saiqiang had just undergone acupuncture treatment, and his vitality was damaged and he needed to rest well. And Lin Feng saw that it was getting late, so he proposed to go back first. Zhou Qilin and Lin Dashan said they would go back to the community where Lin Feng lived. So the family of four said goodbye to everyone, got on Lin Feng's black Mercedes-Benz G, and went home together. At about 11 o'clock, Lin Feng and his friends returned to their own community. As soon as they entered the door, they sat on the sofa in the living room. Zhang Yuxi got up, poured a glass of water for each of them, and sat down. It's getting late. After drinking a glass of water, you and Yuxi, go take a bath and go to bed. You still have to go to class tomorrow. Don't stay up too late, or you won't get enough sleep later. Zhou Qilin picked up the water cup and said to Lin Feng and Zhang Yuxi. Okay, Mom, we'll go take a bath and go to bed later. Don't delay too late for you and my dad. Lin Feng nodded in response. Well, Mom knows. Zhou Qilin also nodded and said. After Lin Feng and Zhang Yuxi drank a glass of water, they went upstairs. Prepare to take a bath and go to bed. After all, Lin Feng was really tired from the high-intensity acupuncture just now. Lin Feng asked Zhang Yuxi to take a shower first. He sat down at the computer in the room and casually clicked a movie to play. He watched it to kill time. About 10 minutes later. Husband. Help me get a clean bath towel, this one fell on the ground and got dirty. Zhang Yuxi's voice came from the bathroom. Oh, okay, wait for me. Lin Feng replied hurriedly. Then he went to the cloakroom and found a clean bath towel and gave it to Zhang Yuxi. A few minutes later, Zhang Yuxi came out of the bathroom. The smell of shower gel mixed with the fragrance of a young girl floated over. Lin Feng looked at Zhang Yuxi, who looked like a beauty coming out of the bath, beautiful and cute. Then he stepped forward and pinched Zhang Yuxi's delicate little face. My wife, so cute. Lin Feng said with a smile. Oh. You annoying guy. Don't pinch my face all the time. Hurry up and take a shower. Zhang Yuxi slapped Lin Feng's hand away, and said coquettishly. Hey. Yes, my dear wife. Lin Feng replied with a smile. Then he took his pajamas and went to take a shower. End of this chapter. Thank you very much for reaching the end. Don't forget to like. Looking for more exclusive content and immediate access? Subscribe to our Patreon. Remember, every like, subscription, or donation encourages us to continue. Thanks to everyone. See you in the next video.